one day I wake up and I'm 21 years old and I'm worth millions and millions of dollars, and it's like, holy shit.
This guy's about to make 7 million online selling sex chocolate. These guys actually get how to market on the internet.
And by the way, fuck all of those YouTubers and those gurus that try to perpetuate that lie. You can't cheat that. There is no shortcut. You need to fail. And I'm sitting there thinking, what the fuck did I do? I call up my academic advisor. I say, I need to go back to school. It was probably one of the lowest points for me. I'm completely isolated. I'm completely alone. The company's tanking. And I'm like, fuck. Right? But at the same time, it also forced me to put my back against the wall. Mm-hmm. And slowly, I started to build things back. Things started to rebound and explode. And after July, we have been growing month after month after month. But we're now going to be pushing over $1 million months. That's what viral marketing is. So, it was working with as many micro-influencers as I possibly could, but it was incredibly challenging logistically. And that's when I had this holy fucking shit moment. This is the model that we need to run on, right? Because instead of always chasing after the next influencer to post about us, I was able to basically find one creator, get him on my retainer, and now it's set and forget. Then my thought process became, now what? How do I scale this? How insane is that? Decreasing the box by 1 ounce is going to make me $300,000 this year. What the fuck? People don't want to think that those successful people are the same as that. Because they don't want to realize that they're missing out on their potential. How to make you feel to know that you could be at that level, but you're not because you're too busy fucking playing Fortnite.
Hello and welcome to the We're Gonna Make It podcast, where we talk to entrepreneurs that are in the shadows, lesser known, but using cutting edge technologies, strategies, and tactics to grow their businesses to the multiple 8 figures. If you want to learn about those strategies or tactics, subscribe to our free newsletter. But other than that, please enjoy the episode. All right, Oliver Brocato, my friend. Okay, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Sex chocolate.
Yep.
How did you get into that? Where's your business at? What's it all about?
Yeah, absolutely, man. This year we're going to do over $10 million in revenue at 40 to 45% net profit margins. And we're probably going to put up over 1 billion views organically.
And how old are you?
I'm 21.
Okay. So guys, I'm bringing Oliver on here because a lot of times when you see podcasts on social media, you see people with a large following, and then any business they kind of start from that following is successful. Oliver here has done it without building a personal brand. He's recently made a few videos on his YouTube channel sharing his actual whole story. So if you want to go listen to that, where can they find you there?
Oliver Brocato.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've watched the video. I know your story. So I just want to get straight into the business tactics, how you were making this possible.
Let's talk about it.
A lot of people make money online. Drop shipping is really popular.
Right.
The number one thing that stuck out about you to me when I saw your content was you focused first things first on making a good product.
Absolutely.
Drop shipping, that's almost like the third or fourth thing. That's snuck under the rug in a way, where you don't talk about the product. It's find a product that is popular right now,
right, and
sell it. There's no focus on the product. So
right.
How did you get that mindset? And then how did you make a good product?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think first of all, drop shipping is a bit of a scam in the sense that everybody tells beginners that this is your entry point into e-commerce, and this is how you're going to make millions of dollars, and this is how you're going to be successful. But the reality is that I think that it's arguably harder to run a successful drop shipping store than it is to build a legitimate
100%.
brand. And the reason being is that with drop shipping, you're always chasing the next buck. You're always chasing the quick fad, and things are constantly moving. And so it's really hard to establish yourself. On top of that, with drop shipping, you're delivering a shitty customer experience, which means that there is no LTV. You're getting a quick lick, which means that you need to be profitable on the customer acquisition cost. And you don't get to milk the returning customer that hopefully you want to create with a legitimate brand. Where when I acquire one customer, I hope and I know that they're going to come back over the next 5 years, 10, 20 times, which allows me margin to play with when I'm acquiring them in the beginning.
Yeah, and this is huge because a lot of people just think they need to use aggressive marketing tactics,
right,
find a quick product and then sell it, and that's success. But then they run into problems where their ads are unprofitable or they can't scale their store.
Right.
No shit, because no one's going to their friend and telling them to buy their product.
Absolutely.
No one's coming back to buy more.
Absolutely.
The point you're saying.
And you're also just not building anything long term because you're always chasing the next quick hot product. Whereas with a brand, you're building equity. And by the way, the real wealth comes from the exit, not from the cash flow, because every single dollar that you generate with a legitimate brand, you get to see 3 to 5x of that when you eventually exit. Could be more even if you're running a bigger brand. So like that's where like generational wealth is made, not off of like selling trinkets, you know, from Alibaba, but actually building out an amazing product, building out an amazing customer experience, and ultimately a brand.
So how do you make a good product?
That's a good question. You know, for me, most people start off with, you know, trying to build the product and brand, and then they try to figure out how to market it. Whereas I have a very kind of clear understanding and background of TikTok and, you know, viral marketing. And so I kind of reverse engineered it, where I was like, how do I build a product that's going to go viral, that lends itself to organically going viral? And that was like the genesis and the thesis of Tabs. A lot of people are like, yo, what, sex chocolate? What are you, like, obsessed with sex? What are you, obsessed with chocolate? And like, you know, while I certainly like both.
Definitely not your passion.
No. I can't lie. I do like both. But, you know, it wasn't like, oh, like I'm obsessed with sex chocolate. Like, no, it was like, I know that I could market the shit out of this. I know that I could blow this thing up on social media and ultimately make this thing pop, and we've done just that.
So you almost took the approach that this would be controversial in a way. So
Absolutely.
That's why it's a good business opportunity, because your strategy would be organic. And so if people just talk about this, naturally it'd get their attention.
100%.
And so that's why you chose to make the business.
Exactly. So, you know, little secret for you, we actually saw a similar product on TikTok. That was the genesis of Tabs. We saw a similar product, and some random chick posted a TikTok about it. It had 8 million views, 2 million likes. I go to do research on the brand. They're not being sold online. Their packaging and branding sucks. They have no social media presence. And it's like, holy shit, there's massive opportunity here. Clearly it can go viral. Clearly, like, it's an intrinsically viral product. If somebody with the right background came in to execute, they could make millions and millions of dollars. And I decided that that person was going to be me.
Okay, so you found that product. You're like, wow, this has potential. A clear-cut strategy.
Absolutely.
It's going to be controversial.
Yeah.
So I watched your video, and you said it took you over a year to make this product.
Yeah.
Dude, what is that process? Because I'm someone who's only sold online products. So a physical product, chocolate, the ingredients, the packaging.
Yeah.
How did you even find these suppliers? Tell me everything.
Okay, I mean, first of all, like, it's complex. It took a ton of time. It took a ton of work. But that also became our moat, because those barriers to entry is what protected us from the other 300 e-com guys that go in, they see something hot, rip you off, and, you know, the market gets saturated and you get fucked. Right? So while it was definitely difficult, it's also kind of been our protection and been, you know, one of our competitive advantages.
So how'd you find them? Like, your actual manufacturers?
Yeah. So what's crazy is that everything is at your fingertips. Like, I truly believe that. Like, with the internet, like, you could do anything. You could fucking do whatever you put your mind to. And like, some people think that I had like some secret sauce or like some like connection to a manufacturer. Like, the reality is I looked up chocolate co-manufacturer on Google. Nice. And then I scraped every single website for the first 20 or 30 pages, and I was just ringing phones, calling people, pitching myself, asking what their MOQ was, asking, you know,
what's
like,
MOQ?
Minimum order quantity. Okay. So the thing is with like a lot of manufacturers is that they're not going to deal with you unless you're ordering 2 million squares right off the bat. I only had $30,000 total to start this business, which I compiled from my previous ventures. You know, then there were many, you know, from fidget spinners to running an agency, to drop shipping, to running stores on eBay and Etsy, to working for my friend's mom who owned a fashion brand. Like, there were a bunch of other ventures, and over time I saved up a little bit of money, and I basically deployed all of that capital to start Tabs.
Okay, so you literally Googled a chocolate manufacturer. Literally. Found 20, and so you're calling them asking.
More than 20. It was like it was like hundreds.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so say you settled on them, like one or like three.
Yeah.
What were you looking for between those three? Who came up with the formula?
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest thing was the MOQ, because the reality is that nobody wants to work with somebody that's only going to order $10,000 worth of chocolate, right? Like, A, there's a lot of time, energy, and effort that comes with the formulation. And then B, like, in order to do a run, there are a lot of fixed costs involved, right? It doesn't matter if you're doing a 10,000 piece run or a 10 million piece run, like setting up the equipment, cleaning all the equipment, et cetera, like those stay consistent. And so as a result, like 99.9% of the chocolate co-manufacturers don't want to touch you unless you're doing big numbers. And so right off the bat, there were only like one or two companies that we found that were viable. And then in terms of like kind of finding the one, it was just conversations, it was pricing, sampling the chocolate, which was super fun. I got to order like 8 different kinds of chocolate. We had like a taste test with all my friends. That's fun. Yeah. I mean, it was fire. But you know, that's what that process looked like there.
And so Did you have, like, this chocolate manufacturer was totally fine just putting anything in the chocolate, knowing what the product was going to be?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, that's what he specialized in. He specialized in like alternative
way.
chocolates, not necessarily sex chocolate, but he played around, and he had one project where he was working with a brand, and it was like a beetroot like superfood healthy chocolate, or like a CBD chocolate, or so he focused on like different kind of variations of chocolate. And for us, it's not that big of a difference. Instead of a nootropic, it's a sex supplement that usually comes in a pill and powder. It's not like we radicalized or came up with some insane formula. We didn't reinvent the wheel. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a chemist. Basically, we took the most popular and effective natural supplements that usually come in a pill and powder format and repackaged it and turned it into an incredibly luxury experience that was destigmatized, that wasn't taboo, and something that people could be proud to share with their partner.
And those like your values that you defined from the start.
Absolutely.
And that's the conversation you're having with your manufacturer.
Absolutely.
Even. And so your chocolate manufacturer and your packaging manufacturer are different from what I saw.
There are a lot of moving parts. So, there's the chocolate manufacturer, right? But even before that, there are 3 different supplement manufacturers that we have to, work with in order to get the raw materials over to the chocolatier.
So they don't actually make that. That's what.
No. So the chocolatier handles the chocolate, but there are specialty supplements, and each of those specialty supplements come from their own vendors. Then, for the chocolate, there's also custom virgin polycarbonate molds. The chocolates don't just spawn in, like a breakable format with like, our logo and T and, in our impressions. Like, it doesn't just like come out of the press like that. We had to formulate and create these
so your
specialized
logo's on the chocolate?
Yeah, man.
How critical was that for you to launch? Did you launch with that?
Absolutely. I mean, in reality, I don't know how critical it was. In my head, it was super critical because, this was like my first real business.
It looks professional.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that.
And that builds trust.
Well, that was the thing. Like, this was like, I was putting like my whole entire savings on the line. And so like, to me, like every single detail mattered. I wasn't going to leave any stone unturned because it's like, I'm pretty much gambling the house. So might as well take the best swing I possibly could.
Really respect that. And that's what young entrepreneurs need to understand. And the fact that you understand that at 21 is really impressive. And that's why you're seeing the success you're seeing. Yeah. So how many manufacturers total do you have?
Probably like 8.
Damn. So these are all just calls, text, multiple relationships you're trying to build. Different countries, different time zones.
Different countries, different time zones, different lead times.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
Oh my God.
Supply chain management,
100%, because if one of the manufacturers fucks up, or if we fuck up and we don't order the right amount, everything's at a halt. And in the beginning, we fucked up a lot. And I'll tell you all about that.
I want to hear it. So first tell me about your packaging though. So what were you actually like focused on when it came to packaging? You wanted to make a controversial product in a way with a luxury feel. So the packaging probably was a big emphasis on that.
Absolutely. I mean, before we get into the packaging, like just like the chocolate, right? The chocolate breaks in half and it's a half for each partner. That was super intentional. The reason being is that like, if you see that on video, you don't need to explain it. You don't need like, a bunch of text or a bunch of like, hey, this is how it works and this is what you're supposed to do. Like, no. In 3 seconds, visually, you're able to grapple with the idea of sex chocolate. We split it in half. My girl eats half, I eat half, and then there's some like cut to like, a sexy scene or whatever. And so by allowing us to like describe the essence of the product in a 3-second video clip, that is what has contributed to our success greatly. Additionally, like, we could have put 50 chocolates in a box. We could have put 100 chocolates in a box or done a massive bar. Instead, we decided to go the opposite and do it very scarce. The reason being is like we wanted to create this luxury feel. We wanted to create this experience. And so we felt
Special
that
occasion,
exactly. And if you put like 100, it's like, okay, it's a whatever. It doesn't really matter. But by keeping it like very limited, it just creates this vibe. It creates this feeling. And so that was super intentional as well. Like every single detail was very, very like conscious.
You have one core value, luxury experience, and then you're making every decision off of that.
Absolutely.
Even down quantity, design. Because
Absolutely.
if I had a piece of chocolate that's supposed to be a sex chocolate and it's just like a blank square.
Fuck that.
And it was like rough around the edges. I'd be like, this is sketchy.
Or it's like a bar. It's like, yo, this is like Hershey's. Like, no. We differentiated ourselves. We're not selling chocolate. We're selling an experience. We're selling a mood. And therefore, like the whole entire vibe needs to be spot on. I mean, otherwise, how do you justify selling 3 tiny 20-gram squares of chocolate for $29.99? Like, you can't justify that, right? But I'm not selling you chocolate. I'm selling you the best night of your life with your loved one.
Okay, so then the packaging itself, it looks beautiful.
Thank you.
Black, gold.
Yeah.
That's a lot of your UGC. I can see like a lot of that being shown. So
100%.
what has been the complications there, or what has been like, how did you actually go about that in the first place?
Yeah.
Reaching out to these people, how did you word it? Do you have that vision in your mind? Did you have a graphic designer? Did they do that? How did that work?
No graphic designer, designed it myself.
Oh yeah?
Yeah,
what?
designed it myself. I think I was using Canva. I was using Canva, which is like pretty crazy. And then the manufacturer had their designer kind of clean it up and, you know, make like 3D renders, and they sent us samples, and it was an amazing process.
It seems, I know it sounds straightforward to you because you've done
Yeah.
it, but a lot of people, this is probably like scary. And so that's why I like to hear like the details of how
Sure.
the business
So
came to be.
yeah, and I will tell you, I took a lot of inspiration from the Truff hot sauce box. Have you seen the Truff hot sauce
No.
box? It's amazing. And if you actually look at the Truff hot sauce box, it's very, very similar to my box. It just creates this luxury feel. Are you familiar with Truff?
No.
Okay, they're like a super high-end, expensive truffle hot sauce brand. Okay. And they sell a little bottle of truffle hot sauce.
Yes.
Truffle's expensive, but I mean, it's truffle infused. It
Yeah.
probably costs them pennies, right? And they sell the bottle for like $30. And they did such a phenomenal job on the branding, the customer experience, and specifically the packaging. And so when I went to build my box, I used them as a model and framework to pull from. And so, you know, when you look at my box, like there's the gold foil stamping, and you know, when you lift it open, it has our socials on the inside lid, and where the chocolate lies in each crevice, you pull out the chocolate, and there's an emoji underneath of it. And if you flip it on the back, like there's like a special saying. Like it's all about contributing to that customer experience and to that vibe, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to get the customers through the door. Now, the product needs to deliver if we want to keep them coming back. But in terms of the customer acquisition, it's not the chocolate. It's not the experience. It's, you know, is it attractive? Is this something that I want to buy? And I think that we did a pretty good job.
Nailed it.
Thank
So
you.
that's the manufacturing process. How many people for packaging did you talk to? Different potential?
Hundreds.
Hundreds?
We sent hundreds of messages.
How many samples did you get?
Probably like 3 or 4.
Okay.
We narrowed it down really, really quickly. But I mean, yeah, like it's important to cast a wide net, to talk to all the different options, and at least just like kind of get like similar comps.
Where are you talking to these people?
So for the packaging, we found the manufacturer on Alibaba. We were looking for box manufacturers on Alibaba, and we just, you know, shot a message to any relevant company.
On the platform, or are you on WeChat?
Originally was on the platform, then we moved over to Skype.
Okay.
And then my contact Julie like stopped responding on Skype, so then somehow got onto WeChat, which was super weird because you need like an activation code.
I remember doing that.
You know what I'm talking about? Like
get,
you need somebody in WeChat to like activate you, which was like pretty fucking crazy. But yeah, so now we're on WeChat and Skype. When she doesn't respond, I have to hit her on WeChat. But the Skype chat was kind of like our direct comms.
Okay.
And by the way, the box requires a ton of hand labor. Like it is not like a, you know, a mass production kind of factory machine that's spitting them out like one by one. Like there is so much attention to detail and TLC and care that goes into it. And I actually looked into moving the box production operations to the United States because the lead times were quite high. Months, yeah. Right. But I kid you not, I couldn't even find a U.S. manufacturer that would take it here because of how labor intensive it was. So like we're kind of stuck with, you know, it being made in China, and we kind of have to bite the bullet and just order a lot of boxes at once and make sure that we're planning, you know, months in advance. And the chocolate's made in the United States. I want to get that straight. Like the chocolate is literally made in Salt Lake City, Utah. Anything that touches the chocolate or anything involved in the chocolate is made in the United States. The only components of the supply chain that are made, you know, outsourced from China is A, the boxes, and then B, the chrome polymillers.
I just can imagine you have to get these ordered. Those take 90 days to ship.
Yep.
These take 2 months to make, but
Right.
2 weeks to ship.
Right.
They need these polymillers. Like it's such a
Right.
balance.
Oh, and then there's like the special plastic film that wraps the chocolate. That's a specific manufacturer. It's crazy. And then, you know, like for the polymillers, it creates an embryonic effect, which essentially traps the heat from coming coming into the chocolate, because chocolate melts.
Of course.
Duh.
Yeah.
But, you know,
think
that
about
was
that.
that was not something that I thought about when I first started the brand, until we had customers complaining left and right when the summer months hit, and I was like, holy shit, this is a massive issue.
I can just imagine like the feeling of survival and stress on your shoulders.
Oh
So
my God.
From idea from
Yeah.
this product, like just the very first time you're like, we should try this, to actually having your first like sellable product.
Right.
How long was that?
Like 11 months.
11 months.
11 months.
Of like R&D basically.
Pretty much.
Okay, so we've made the product.
Right.
How did you go about selling it?
Good question. So originally, from the start, the game plan was TikTok. The game plan was running on TikTok organic and working with micro influencers. I had a lot of experience in that space. And so, kind of our go-to-market launch strategy was I was going to line up and find as many micro influencers as I possibly can, send them, free product, try to pay them some sort of small cash, bonus, and get them hooked. And the idea is that with TikTok, they've democratized the ability to go viral. It doesn't matter if you have 500 followers or 500,000 followers. And so instead of paying some big celebrity for their brand name and their distribution, I want to work with the smaller guys, because if they make good content, they could hit the For You page, they could go viral, and therefore I'm able to stretch my marketing dollars substantially.
So you went for the quantity of smaller influencers.
Exactly.
And then are you also going for quantity with their posting amount?
Absolutely.
Or how is the actual... I want to go into this whole UGC process.
Let's go.
This is cutting edge new shit.
100%.
Drop shipping is getting really popular because you don't have to I come from the era of Facebook ads.
Okay.
And now it's anybody can post a video. If you're a drop shipper, you can just make a video on your phone.
100%.
And it has the potential because these algorithms have democratized
content.
And so tell me just your entire UGC strategy.
Right.
From the start.
Well, so initially it started off with it being micro influencer focused. But the problem is that it was incredibly difficult to scale. For every 1,000 emails that we sent out to prospective influencers, only 30% would even bother, getting back to us. Yeah. And of those that got back to us, the vast majority of them would ask for these ridiculous rates, right? Rates that were just completely unaffordable, and I knew we were not going to be profitable if we paid them. So in order to work with one valid influencer for a good deal.
What's a valid influencer?
A valid influencer to me, valid influencer to me is somebody that has anywhere between 50,000 followers to 200,000 followers. But more importantly than their followers, creates engaging, amazing quality content that hits the For You page and gets views and gets eyeballs. Additionally, I don't really care about their price. I'm all about value, right? So if the ROI is there, the ROI is there. So for me, it's what is my kind of CPM gonna look like? And I'm shooting for sub $1 CPM when I'm working with TikTok influencers.
Really?
Yeah, which is crazy. Yeah. But especially in the early days, again, I didn't have a lot of money. I needed to make this last, and I needed to stretch the dollars, and that's what viral marketing is. So, it was working with as many micro influencers as I possibly could, but it was incredibly challenging logistically. So eventually I was this is not going to work. Because what would happen was we would have a micro influencer post about us, sales would go up, and then, they would crash the following day. And then, a week later, we'd have another micro influencer post and sales would go up.
Just one post?
And then, one post at a time. And so it was a roller coaster. The sales would go up and down, up and down. And so, I kind of thought to myself, in order to create longevity, in order to create something that had sustainability, and in order to create a baseline where day in, day out, we're pumping, this model would not work. I simply was not able to kind of get to the scale that I needed to. And it didn't matter, despite the fact that, I streamlined the process with VAs, scraping, influencer leads and handling outreach and doing all the back and forth. It didn't matter. It was just so time intensive and labor intensive, and influencers would steal product and just ghost us. It was just a nightmare and an organizational mess. I decided I needed to find a new model. And that's when I met.
One quick interruption to this podcast, guys. It's no question that AI is completely disrupting the way businesses operate, and these future technologies are evolving so quickly. So if you want to stay up to date and keep yourself informed, go ahead and subscribe to our free newsletter. I'll leave that in the first link in the description below. And if you want to even start a side hustle, you can actually start an AI business today. We'll even send you a free list of 100 AI business ideas if you sign up through this link.
This kid named Key, I actually met him on Twitter. And he was a content creator. He wasn't an influencer. Basically, I paid him $2,000, a flat retainer, to make 30 TikToks about my brand, one TikTok a day. And he ran the brand page at Tabs. And by day 5, some video fucking hit, blew up, went viral. And that month he generated $70,000 to $80,000 in sales. And that's when I had this holy fucking shit moment. This is the model that we need to run on, right? Because instead of always chasing after the next influencer to post about us, I was able to basically find one creator, get him on my retainer, and now it's set and forget, right? I don't need to reach out to 10,000 influencers every week. It was this guy's just pumping for me day in, day out. And then my thought process became, now what? How do I scale this, right? It's clear that this is working with Key, but now how do I do this 100 times over?
So you went from finding like these micro influencers,
Right.
50,000, 200,000 followers,
Right.
which is still quite a bit in a way.
Right.
But you were going off one after one, and they were only making one video.
Yeah, 1 or 2 videos. Sometimes I would have them come back and post 3 or 4 videos. But at the same time, like, they didn't want to saturate their audience.
Yeah.
And they don't want to put like 20 posts out about a brand. Like, it would ruin their,
Yeah.
like whole entire like.
And everybody's hitting
account.
these people up because they have hundreds of thousands. So you're
Exactly.
competitive in that nature.
Exactly.
So then you went to a content creator who had like 5,000 followers.
No, he had no followers.
0 followers.
He had
Just
0 followers.
like a new guy.
Exactly. He was a new guy, and he basically managed my Tabs brand account, and he was the face of the Tabs brand account. And every day he would make TikToks on behalf of my brand account.
Just new creative, basically.
Exactly.
And so you just try different styles, and then one hit, and that related to $80,000 in sales in one day, basically.
I wouldn't say one day.
But
It was
one-
like
okay.
It was over like a couple of weeks, but it was like, wow, this has crazy potential. And then my thought process was like, okay, now how do we do this with 100 fucking creators? Like, how do we bring this from, $80,000 a month to $10 million a month? And the idea that I had was pretty simple, right? Clearly it worked for Key. It worked on this one account. Let's horizontally scale
Nice.
now across 50 other creators, across 50 other independent accounts,
Genius.
and just kind of like repeat the success that we saw there. A lot of people think that you could just add more creators to the same account,
No.
and that's a fallacy.
Yeah.
And the reason being is that like the way that the TikTok algorithm works, and the way that a lot of social media algorithms work, is that they start to kind of understand the creator's ethos. They look at their style, they look at their upload schedule, they look at their consistency, and they start to basically reward good creators and push them out to people that they think would enjoy the content. Because at the end of the day, the social media platform wants retention on their app or on their platform itself. And so if you take 8 different creators and put them all on the same page, it's too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Like, TikTok doesn't know who to show the video to, right? Does it show the video to this kid, or does it show to this kid, or does it show to that kid? And when you look at the most successful TikTok accounts, they're hyper niche and hyper specific. Like, if you think about, the Cold Stone guy, you know who I'm talking
Yeah.
about? The dude that basically
of
chops
course.
up fucking
Yeah.
ice cream. Every single video is the same video. Or you look at the dude that makes the Subway sandwiches. You know that guy?
Yep.
Same exact video every single fucking time, bro. The same thumbnail, the same storytelling, the same closing, the same frame. Like, it follows a recipe, it follows a formula. TikTok loves it, viewers love it. They know it's gonna get views, and it gets pushed out and gets millions of views. So I was like, instead of having like 20 creators on one account, I'm going to basically diversify and set them up with their own individual independent account and have them be the face
You
of it.
made them accounts?
No.
Okay.
If I made the accounts, TikTok, like, my IP would be tied to 20 accounts. TikTok would be like, yo, this guy's abusing the
Yeah.
platform. He's trying to like algo hack.
Yeah.
Like, fuck this guy, we're gonna shadow ban him. So no, I let the creators create the accounts with their own email, their own password, their own phone number.
So they're making a new account then?
Yeah, they're making a new account.
Okay.
And then I give them instructions. Here, you're gonna name the account some variation of Tabs, some variation of Tabs
Oh,
Chocolate,
okay, I
Tabs
didn't know
Chocolate
that.
Company, Tabs Chocolate Co., Tabs USA, the viral chocolate. At this point, we have hundreds of accounts, thousands of accounts.
But you don't control any of them.
No. Dude, I don't want to be controlling the content. What I want to do is cast as wide of a net as possible and hit as much scale as I can. I don't want to be like in charge of the TV show. I want to own the whole entire fucking news channel, right? And my thought process is that like I have 300 TV shows going on.
Yeah.
And I don't know which one's gonna hit.
That's really smart.
It might be the prankster. It might be the grandparents. It might be the model. It might be the OnlyFans thotty. I don't know, right? Like I don't know. I can't tell you which one's gonna hit. But I know that inevitably, if I have enough content going out every single day, one is going to hit. And all I need is one to hit in order to drive serious impact in sales.
Okay, so I want to get into the details of this now.
Yo, let's go.
UGC, what does it stand
Yeah,
for?
user-generated content.
Okay, so how are you finding these people? What is the arrangement?
Right.
How much do you pay? And
Absolutely.
how much instruction are you giving?
Yeah, okay. So where do I find these people? I was able to find them on Twitter and leverage my personal brand and my own following in order to kind of get them and onboard them as a TikTok content creator for my brand. And here's the thing, like I wasn't like super picky, like, oh, you need to be like a super high performing creator, like, or like you need to have X background or whatever. It's like, no, do you have all your limbs and do you have a phone? like let's work. Let's fucking work, dude. Because that's how, like, my product is so intrinsically viral. It doesn't take like a creative genius in order to push out good quality content with it. Like, we don't need to come up with some crazy script and story and concept in order to get views. You just need to like flash the product and boom, like 2 million views. boom, 3 million views, right?
Wow.
Like one of my content creators tweeted, he was like, dude, I swear to God, even a monkey could get 2 million views promoting tabs, right? So for me, it was just a numbers game. It was about how many bodies.
It validates your strategy, right? 'Cause
Absolutely.
sex chocolate just gets people's attention.
Absolutely. It was intentional from the start. Again, we did not create this brand and be like, okay, like how do we market it? We were like, yo, we know how to market it. We know how to get eyeballs. We know how to get, to drive customers. How do we create a product that is going to make that process a lot easier? And so like that, again, that was the genesis of tabs. But, for me, it was just about a numbers game. How could I bring on as many creators as I possibly could? And Twitter was kind of like my number one place. And then it was just like, referrals, right? Creators are friends with other creators. So one creator that I onboarded became 3. I was hiring anybody and everybody, and I was paying them anywhere from like $1,000 a month to $3,000 a month. For 30 TikToks a month, 1 TikTok a day.
So the structure is 1 upload a day, around $1,000 to $3,000 a month. Do they have creative control?
Of course. I don't want to be there sitting there micromanaging and feeding them scripts and going back and forth with the creator. They have full creative control. Now, what I will say is that like when a video goes like viral, I send it out to all of my creators and it's like, yo, you guys all need to remake this, take notes, remake this, because the reality is with TikTok,
copy it.
Dude, with TikTok, it's not about reinventing the wheel. There's no originality with TikTok. There's no like secret formula. What's the saying? It's like, good artists copy, great artists steal, right? Same thing with TikTok, right? Like if you see a viral hit, remake that shit, chances are it will go viral again. So, whenever like a TikTok creator like hits something, everybody remakes it and oftentimes it hits again. That's like, I would say like tip number 1. Tip number 2 is, and which a lot of people don't know about, is that actually the viral video is not what drives the majority of the sales. It's the follow-up videos that drives the true conversions. So like what I optimize for is a viral video, right? To get as many views and top of funnel brand awareness as possible. But the sales come from video 2, 3, 4. Once you have the viral video, you want to respond to comments from that OG viral videos with new TikToks. And in those videos is when you sell, and you sell hard.
Okay, so explain that to me. So the first video is just like showcasing the product.
Yeah, the first video is like, how do I get eyeballs? How do I get seen? Right? Because TikTok is the Wild West. It's the cheapest CPMs of all the platforms. You can get as many impressions as you can dream, right? So when you're creating videos, you want to optimize for eyeballs, not for conversions. Once you hit that video, that's punch number 2, right? I call it the 1-2 punch. First punch is the viral video. Okay. Second punch is, okay, now we optimize for conversions. So once you have the viral video, everybody leaves comments. What is the product? How does it work? Is this real? Is it legit? Is it a scam? TikTok allows you to make videos responding to comments from older videos. And when you respond to comments from the original viral video, it actually retargets all of the initial viewers from that original viral video.
If it's from your account?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Whoa.
So it's like video 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can make as many as you want.
It's like a free retargeting ad.
It's free retargeting.
Wow.
And in those retargeting videos is when you fucking sell the shit out of the product. You address pain points. You tell them where to shop. You tell them to go to your store and buy it right now before we sell out. Like that is where like you're pushing conversion. But don't get it twisted. You first need the viral video 1 in order to like get to that point. So you should be optimizing for virality. Once you hit virality, video 2 through 10 or 20 is when the bulk of the sales will come. I had a video that did over 30 million views. That video maybe generated $40,000 in sales that day. Itself.
Okay.
The follow-up videos generated $130,000 the next day. And for the next week, we were ripping the responding to comment videos. And that month we did close to 7 figures.
Okay, so the video goes viral on your account.
Right.
You are the one making the follow-up video of like.
No, the creator is. So the creator posts a video, it goes viral, right? Then the creator makes responding to comment videos, responding to comments from that original viral video, and they're new videos, new TikToks.
Okay, but then if you say, so say to your account, you're the creator.
Yeah.
And it's going viral.
Yeah.
And then I make a reaction to your comments.
That's not going to do anything.
Okay, gotcha.
It needs to be like from the same account.
Same account.
So I have the viral video, and I see a bunch of people comment, and now I'm going to respond to comments on that original viral video with like specific, conversion-focused, product-centric kind of TikToks that are focused on selling and actually bringing a viewer and turning them into a customer.
That's genius. I did not know that.
I didn't know that.
Free retargeting, yeah.
Dude, I didn't know that either until, I stumbled upon this. It kind of fell into my lap where one of my creators started making the responding to comment videos, and we're like, holy fucking shit. I'm looking at the live view of my dashboard on my phone, and I see it like spike by like 800%. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And that's when I kind of discovered like this like little hack that is probably like responsible for the majority of my sales, at least the sales that are coming from TikTok. Now I would say we're like pretty well diversified.
Yeah.
We have a lot of other channels in the mix.
Yeah, and this is specifically for TikTok or like Instagram Reels. Like
I don't know about Instagram Reels.
Just strictly TikTok.
Strictly TikTok.
Okay, people really need to understand how different each platform is.
There are a lot of nuances and intricacies for sure.
So just to recap, basically, the first video is supposed to get their interest, get their attention.
Yes.
And then so just be like flashy, showing this chocolate. And then the next one's where you can talk about like the bullet points. This is what's great about the product. This is the price point. Maybe this is like any like basically objection you want to overcome.
Exactly.
Because if you hit them with that first,
it's not going to go viral.
They're bored.
It's an ad. Nobody wants to fucking watch an ad.
But if they have an idea of what the product is, now they're interested, they will take the time to learn.
Bingo.
That makes sense.
You're basically like riding on the TikTok's algorithm and you get free retargeting, right? So it's like it's a no-brainer.
If I wanted to do this for my company, I would go to Twitter. What do I search?
UGC,
just literally
TikTok
type in
content creator.
hashtag UGC, hashtag,
absolutely.
And then just look for people who are like,
there will be thousands.
What are they going to be posting? Are they going to be posting UGC?
They're going to be tweeting about their UGC and the brands and the clients that they're working with, and that's how they find clients.
And basically, for anyone who doesn't know, it's like just random people, like high school kids,
college kids, fucking grandparents, all different walks of life.
You just send them your product, and they will just say, check out this product, and either you give them a script or make up content themselves.
What I will say though is that eventually I started onboarding so many different content creators, where we were spending a lot of money because it's $1,000 here, $3,000 there, times 50, times 100. You're looking at a really high expenditure. So eventually I ended up shifting the model and turning them into affiliates, where I was paying them on a commission basis.
Smart.
This way I get to mitigate my downside and risk, A, and B, I get to reward the real killers.
Upside,
by doing so, I also kind of like weed out the weak, right? Like anybody that's not worth their weight is leaving on their own accord. And so as a result, like the fat gets trimmed very, very quickly, because if they're not driving sales, they're not gonna create content for you anymore, right? Because it's like, fuck this, I'm making 30 TikToks and I made $5 this month. Well, guess what? You made me $50 this month, and how am I gonna justify paying you $3,000 a month? I'm not.
So how did you restructure that? Do they still get a smaller flat fee?
So some of them do.
Okay.
Some of them are on full affiliate basis, where it's like they get like 20% of all the track revenue that they drive. We track that with a UTM link in bio and a trackable coupon code or discount code. Some of them it's a hybrid model where it's a little bit of cash and then some sort of again affiliate commission.
What platform did you use to set up those UTMs? Is it like Impact or
Social Snowball?
Social Snowball.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out Noah Tucker. That's my dog.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is really insightful, but what other channels have been working for you?
Okay, cool. So we have a lot of viral content that's super viral on TikTok, right?
And you've archived it, basically.
And we've archived it. We save it in Google Drive folder without the watermark and an HD HD format.
How do you remove the watermark?
You could just if you look up on TikTok Downloader, it's very easy. There's no secret sauce. But then it's like, okay, it's gone viral on TikTok. Chances are it's gonna go viral on Instagram Reels. It's gonna go viral on YouTube Shorts. It's going to go viral on all the other short form platforms as well. So how do we take our most successful content that's smacked on TikTok, and how do we give it a second life on these new channels and these new platforms? So initially I had my VA make 15 YouTube accounts, 15 Instagram accounts, and he was just posting manually. And some of the shit started to hit. We had a Facebook reel that took off and drove 8 million views and generated $30,000 in sales in a day, all organically, $0 in ad spend, right? Randomly, some videos would pop off. But eventually, again, these social media platforms are smart. They realize that it's all one IP address, and they fucking banned and shut down all the accounts. All right, fuck. What do I do now? So I decided to create a Discord. Similar to the Andrew Tate model, right? Yeah. I created my own Discord, where it was make money online, and it started with 5 members. We now have over 2,500 members, and they're super clear instructions. And basically, we have them set up an Instagram account, a Facebook account, a YouTube account, some variation of tabs. We give them our profile picture. We give them instructions on how to create the bio.
Wow.
And then we give them our content library of all of our viral videos. And then day in, day out, they're posting these across a mass network of all these other social media accounts, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, Pinterest Idea Pins, Facebook Reels, and we're mass syndicating it across thousands of accounts. Right? And it's not all tied down to one name. Each one is tied down to its own individual kit. And again, we use Social Snowball to track, what kind of revenue that they're driving. And this has become a fucking machine.
So you made a Discord community of your affiliates to repurpose your content and upload it any way they want.
Yes.
Damn, bro, that's
and
smart.
it's fucking hitting.
I can imagine.
It's generated millions of dollars in revenue. I had a 14-year-old kid who was just reposting my viral content on Instagram Reels. He made more than his fucking parents one month. I think he drove like $50,000 in revenue, completely random. And I can't tell you, he was posting the same videos that the other 2,000 members were posting.
But the algorithms work.
Why did his video go viral and the other guy didn't? I don't know. The algorithm's a black box, and anybody that tries to tell you that like, oh, you need to use this hashtag and you need to post at this time, fuck that shit. Nobody fucking knows. That's the reality. Nobody fucking knows. But again, my thesis is that if you have enough scale, you will win. And if you have a good product that can go viral, obviously.
Of course.
I mean, there's a caveat. There's a caveat.
Foundation.
That is the caveat,
if
right?
you have a shit product that's never gonna work.
Right. I mean, if you're fucking selling a toaster, like, good luck, man.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I mean, I have kids, a 14-year-old kid that made like $10,000 in a month, made more than his parents. He was telling me, just reposting viral TikToks. And I've gamified the community. Like, I've created a real community there. Like, there's a gym channel where people are posting their gym selfies every day. If they post it, they react to a message, and then my VA uploads that all onto a wheel, and we spin a wheel every day and give out money to 3 random people just to incentivize and keep the retention high and keep people like excited to post. Obviously, we give them 20% of any sale that they drive.
Wow.
We do like invite tournaments, to grow the Discord.
Nice, yeah.
It's like its own like little like mini like marketing engine in and of itself.
Like, that is something I have not thought about before, though,
Right.
because I've been in the Discord community game. That's
Right.
how I made my name.
Yeah.
And so you're making a Discord community around your business,
Right.
through an affiliate opportunity by sharing all of your content.
Yep.
And then how are you incentivizing growth, and how are you building awareness of that?
Of the
stuff?
Discord?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, the biggest thing is like the Discord grows by itself, right? Because we do these invite tourneys where it's like the person that invites the most members gets $100.
Nice.
Second person gets 50, third person gets 25. I was just throwing fucking money at it because it's printing for me, right?
Yeah.
So that was probably like one of the biggest levers. And then B, some of the content creators that were promoting tabs, I switched them to start promoting the Discord. So instead of, hey, buy tabs, it was, hey kid, you want to make money online, join this Discord, and then they promote tabs indirectly, right? So again, I was leveraging like the organic content creators to funnel people into the Discord. And then we were doing like shout out for shout outs with other Discords that had similar followings.
Smart.
Again, it's not rocket science.
But it's not common sense either, you know what I'm saying? So
I mean,
that's how you get into it.
Sure. So like, channel 1 is TikTok content. Then we take those viral winners and we give it a second life by, blasting across other social media channels through my 2,000 affiliates that are in my Discord. Then what we also do is we put paid behind them. Not the traditional paid, not Facebook ads, not Google ads, not Snapchat ads or TikTok ads. What we do is we pay meme pages that have millions of followers to post our most viral content for 24 hours.
On what platform?
Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, you name it. There are these networks of these meme accounts, right, that have combined cumulative hundreds of millions of followers. And we basically, pay these meme page owners to post our content organically. And it's already viral content too, so it gets a boost through their distribution network.
Essentially.
Exactly, it's already validated.
The content works.
And we get a boost because of their distribution network, and then it also goes viral because it's like a reel. So we get their boost of their 2 million followers. Then it goes viral because it's a reel, and it just hits the it hits the algorithm. And that shit smacks.
How much do you pay for that if they have 2 million?
It depends on the page, depends on the engagement. Is it a US following? Is it an Indian following? Could be anywhere between $100 to $2,000.
That's still pretty cheap.
Oh yeah, it is. It's very cheap. And we spend 6 figures a month on memes.
But it's still reels, not posts.
Yeah, it's reels.
Is there a reason?
And then on Twitter, it's it's like viral tweets. They're like these Twitter meme pages that have millions of followers. They put out a viral tweet about finding tabs, like a viral video, some sort of viral video about my product and my brand that's already been validated on TikTok, and and the vast majority of times it goes viral again, and we get to like ride their boost because they already have this own distribution.
On Twitter, are you directly linking to the store or no link?
So the paid tweet is like kind of a native integrated post with a viral kind of like video, and then tweet number 2 is like, oh my god, I discovered their website. I just found their website, tabschocolate.com, and then it's like, hashtag partner. Gotta throw that out.
What's the timeline? So it's like the first tweet is its own tweet, and then like a few hours go by, then you tweet again.
Then they reply. So it's underneath like the viral tweet, and it's like, holy shit,
together?
I just found, so it's together. So like tweet 1 is like the viral post, and then tweet number 2, which goes right underneath it, which is a reply to the tweet, is like, hey guys, I just discovered like the chocolate, and here's the website. And we try to keep it super native, because if it feels like an ad, it's not going to work. Consumers are really smart. They're served thousands of ads every single day. And like, we want to make it feel like they discovered us. We want to make it feel like they found us, they discovered us, and like, they're making the decision to buy it on their own accord, not like we're forcing it down their fucking throats, which is what most companies do.
And again, that's something that someone could literally see that and be like, just send it to their friend, like, holy shit, have you seen this sex chocolate?
Dude,
like, that's funny.
That's like, I mean, that's the reason why it works, is because like a lot of people send it to their friends.
Yeah. Wow. Have you been able to track your LTV yet? Are you that?
It's tough because like we've only been in business for a year and a half,
That's what I'm saying,
right?
yeah.
So it's like it's really hard to get a gauge of the LTV. A, B, like we only have one product, we only have one line, and now it's time to really kind of like grow the brand and grow the umbrella of products. Add new flavors, add new moods, add new SKUs altogether. Maybe venture into CBD, maybe venture into shrooms, maybe sex toys. I don't know yet. There's there are a lot of different avenues that we can take this. But I think that adding some new lines will do wonders for the overall growth of the business and for extending that LTV that you were talking about.
I'm curious, how have you thought about getting like incentivizing like second orders, third orders, repurchases?
Absolutely. So subscriptions is massive, right?
That's smart.
Because it's a food product, they're going to finish it and they're going to need to replenish it. So what we do is we incentivize subscriptions. I think that this is really interesting that I want to talk about. Originally I was pushing subscriptions on the product page. You land on the product page and it's like, hey, we incentivize you to buy 2 boxes or 3 boxes. We have like, when you land on the product page, there's 1
bundle.
box, 2 box, 3 box. If you buy 2 boxes, you get free shipping and a discount. If you buy 3 boxes, you get free shipping and an even bigger discount. Then we added a subscription layer to it. If you add subscription, you also get 20% off your entire order. But what I found was that people that were opting for 2 boxes or 3 boxes were now instead opting for 1 box and a subscription. So it's like, okay, how do I get the best of both worlds? How do I incentivize the bundle and a higher AOV while also incentivizing the subscription without sacrificing one or the other? So instead of having that all on the product page, what I do now is on the product page, you can only buy it, like you can only do a one-time buy, right? And so we're really incentivizing the 2 box or 3 box package. Then you go onto the cart and we incentivize, a melting insurance, which is $4.99. And the melting insurance is genius, I'll tell you why. Because if the chocolate melts, we were replacing it for free anyway, right? Now we get to tack on $4.99 on every single order that comes through. And we like basically make it a no-brainer. For the melting insurance, it's like we replace the chocolate money back guarantee. You get to skip the queue. You get faster shipping. Blah blah blah. We make it like so unreasonable for you not to get the melting insurance that we have like a 80% plus take rate on that. Yes, we have an 80. And bro, there's no good. There's no cost of goods. It's free money, right? So I love the melting insurance. We just added that last month. But what's also interesting is now when you get to the checkout page with Shopify Plus, that's when we push a subscription. So by this time, they've already probably bought the 2 or 3 boxes. They've probably already bought the melting insurance. Now they're finally at the checkout page. Now on the checkout page, it's, hey, upgrade to subscription and save 20%.
Nice.
And then we see a really good take rate there.
The flow.
Exactly. The flow is super important. And if you try to stack everything at once, things get sacrificed. But if you build it in a very methodical kind of way.
But they haven't paid yet. They've just been like, they chose my product, chose insurance.
Now they're moving to subscription to save 20%.
Buy. Gotcha.
Buy. Then post-purchase, hey, do you want to add another box for 50% off? Buy. And it gets added seamlessly. We use an app so they don't have to put in their information all over again. We use a Shopify app that, it's a post-purchase OCU, one-click upsells is what the app is called. So they don't need to put in their information again. They're able to just add it to their order and the order gets updated. Then they land on the thank you page. There's another upsell, for another box for 50% off. Boom, gets added seamlessly to their order. They don't have to put their information again. Then post-purchase, they get emails about, hey, are you sure you don't want to subscribe if they didn't subscribe already, right? Hey, upgrade your order to a subscription and save a lot of money.
That's like a drip campaign.
It's a drip campaign.
Okay.
So like the funnel is super important, right? Without all of these different steps, we're looking at like an AOV of, I don't know, maybe like $25.
Average order value?
Average order value of like $25. With all of these different bumps, it's 5% boost here, 10% boost here, 20% boost here. All said and done, like we're doubling. It's 100% gains, and we're able to like squeeze out way more money out of a consumer. These are things that I wish I knew when I started off, because at the end of the day, like one store can send 100 visitors, and squeeze $50 out of them. Another store can send the same 100 visitors, the same product, but have all of these upsells and cross sells and squeeze $500 out of the same 100 visitors. And, at the end of the day, the person that's able to squeeze the most out of money will win long term. While, of course, offering an amazing customer experience and being cognizant of, ensuring that they're going to return and they're going to have a good experience and there's going to be high LTV. Because you don't want to burn the customer just for the quick cash grab. Don't get me wrong. But there's a balance.
Of course.
And it's pivotal. So it's like, if you can squeeze, 200% more money out of the same 100, visitors, that's game changing.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's so focused on acquiring more customers, getting more traffic, adding more visitors and conversions. But wait a second, like, have you really maximized like the full potential of your site? Probably not.
Dropping bombs, brother. This is really insightful for me too. Like, I've learned a lot.
Appreciate
and
that.
I consider myself a marketer, so thanks for coming. This is really helpful for me.
Thanks for having me, dude.
But still a lot more to talk about. So,
yeah, that's hard.
Pricing. So this is probably going to be quick, but how did you come up with your initial pricing? And if it changed, why did it change?
That's a good question. Initially, we charged $19.99. There really was no competition. There really was no market, right? So at the end of the day, like, we got to create our own price. There was no anchor. With other industries, with other products, it's like, you can't charge too much, you can't charge too little, because like customers have an anchor in their mind of like, this is what the product is worth. This is where like the competitors land. There's the higher end version here, the lower end version here. There is no other sex chocolate besides like, that small ass company based out of fucking Idaho that sells to 2 sex shops regionally, right? Like, they're not competition. They're I wouldn't even call them involved in the market, right? Like, people don't even know about them. So as a result, like, we got to dictate our own pricing, and we knew that we wanted to go the high end route. We knew that we wanted to go the luxury route. And so we kind of pulled a number out of our ass. I was like, fuck it.
That's how it goes.
$19.99.
What was your competitor average? Like the pill in one of the stores?
Oh, the pill and the
like
powders at $10. I don't even know. But like, I wouldn't even call a pill a competitor, because again, we don't sell the supplement.
There's a honey, right?
Yeah, there's a royal honey.
Yeah.
But like, we don't sell like a supplement. We don't sell a pill or powder. We sell an experience. We don't want to be pharmaceutical. We don't want to be taboo. We want to create something that's luxury, that's shared, that's something that people are proud to take. Not like some like sneaky pill. It's like, oh, I hope my girl didn't see me that, because like now that like shows that I'm vulnerable, or like, I can't get it up. Like, that's embarrassing, right? Like, fuck that. It's like, yo, enjoy this with your partner together. Big paradigm shift.
I would always, if I ever saw that, would assume it's only for one.
Right. It is.
Gender.
100%. So we started with $19.99, and then, I started split testing new prices. Funny enough, when we increased price, we saw an increase in conversion rate.
Luxury goods.
I mean, luxury goods, but like, fuck, man, I was not expecting that, right? Like, I thought that it was crazy to charge $19.99 for 3 tiny squares of chocolate. I thought it was, who the fuck is going to pay this? And then when we increased the price, more people are paying it? You got to be kidding me. And now we're doing even more intensive split testing pricing, where, we're split testing like 5 different other price points, moving up like $2 increments, sending 20% of the traffic to, one price, 20% to another, 20% to another, so on and so forth, to really start to even hone in further, new optimizations. The crazy thing, which I'm sure you'll resonate to, is that like, the greater scale that you operate at, it's crazy how much more leverage you have. Little optimizations of saving a penny here, or increasing the conversion rate by 0.1% here, add an extra 6 figures into your pocket. It is absurd. It's mental. We're in the process of decreasing the weight of our box by 1 ounce. That is going to save us over $300,000 this year.
1 ounce?
1 ounce.
Just shipping or fitting more?
So if it's 1 ounce less, we fall into a different shipping threshold.
Okay. Yeah.
And so that 1 ounce is costing us over $300,000 at our current run rate, right? So like, dude, like, how insane is that? Decreasing the box by 1 ounce is going to make me $300,000 this year. What the fuck? And I can't imagine how it feels like to be a big boy that's, moving hundreds of millions. 1 ounce is going to save him $10 million, $20 million. That's fucking 100 Lamborghinis, bro. one ounce is going to make me a Lamborghini this year. What the fuck?
I love how you categorize money. That's awesome. So those little details definitely go a long way. And I'm sure you've tested like promos and offers.
Absolutely.
I wanted to make one point. I have a lot of friends that have net worths in the millions in their 20s. And one thing I've noticed with this point of luxury goods is successful people brag to their friends about how much they pay for something. Like, if I hire a consultant or someone to like my personal trainer, people like will brag like, this guy's $500 an hour. He's the best at what he does. And so that's kind of a weird psychological flip that most people don't think about.
Wait, but hold on a second. I don't think like the bragging part is important. I think it's the fact that you associated $500 an hour with he's the best at what he does.
Yep.
If that same trainer came to you and said, hey, I'm going to train you for $29.99 a month, you'd be like, fuck out of here, bro. I don't want to work with you. I don't want to work with you. I'm going to go to fucking Equinox. Like, you can't even afford my gym, right?
Yeah, 100%.
But if he comes and tells you, yo, I'm the best at what I do, I charge a lot of money, all of a sudden you associate that with, holy shit, it's luxury, it's top quality, and it's the same thing with my chocolates. If I priced it at $4.99, which I could have, people would be like, yo, like, this is bullshit. This is sketchy. This is fake. How does it really work? As soon as we priced it higher, people have this idea in their head, like,
it's psychology.
damn, like, it must be something insane, and I got to try it.
Yeah, have you read the book Influence by Robert Cialdini?
Yeah, dude, that's funny that you mentioned Cialdini. I haven't read that book,
Best book
but I've read a little bit about
for
Cialdini,
sales.
and I've heard that before. I've heard his name brought up a couple of times, and I have done a little bit of skimming, but I got to check it out.
Yeah, in that book, they just say if there's like puppies, there's
Right.
10 puppies, and you say free puppies, no one will come get them because they think they're going to get like lured into something. But if you say puppies, $300, you'll sell out in a day.
Wild.
Super. Everybody needs to read that book if you're getting into sales.
Yeah,
but,
I'll read
okay,
it.
so moving on. So that's your pricing structure.
Right.
You're testing a lot of different stuff.
Right.
What's your tech stack? This is a really nerdy, specific question, but
Okay.
like you're using Shopify apps. What do you use to actually just make the business function, from organization with these UGC people?
Yeah.
This is not a sexy topic, but it's really important for people who are actually in the game.
For sure. Okay, I mean, so Klaviyo for email,
Okay.
like right off the bat.
Same.
Right? I have an amazing text messaging platform that I use that 99% of people don't know about. It's called OneText.
Okay.
And they are revolutionizing the text messaging game. They're actually in Y Combinator right now. You know what YC is, right?
Of course.
Yeah, for people that don't know what Y Combinator is, it's like the premier startup accelerator for tech companies. Like Uber was born out of YC, right?
Airbnb,
like
Sam Altman, OpenAI,
OpenAI, dude.
Yeah.
Like
he ran it basically.
Dude, they create fucking unicorns. I was their third client. The founder hit me up on Twitter and was like, I want you to demo our shit. He was working at PayPal at the time. Like, swear to God, I was their third client, and I should have invested in it. I had no, I had no money at the time. They're now at like a $30 million valuation.
So what do they do?
Basically, what they do is they allow people to buy your product within the text message. So instead of, hey customer, here's a link to finish your purchase, it's, hey customer, this is a real human being. Press 1 if you want to buy. Like you abandoned this product, press 1 if you want to buy it. And then they have to put in their credit card information once. But now their card is vaulted within the OneText ecosystem.
No way.
Which means that any other merchant that uses OneText and has an overlap doesn't need to even ask for their credit card again. They can literally click 1 and they can buy the
I need
product.
an introduction ASAP.
I'll introduce you. But here's where it gets really amazing. The TCPA guidelines states that in order to send a text message to a consumer, they need to opt in twice. There are very strict regulations around this.
Okay.
Because it's around like text message marketing.
Yeah.
Because this is not marketing, it's considered part of the same transaction as before. They're able to send an abandoned cart to every single customer that abandons on your site, whether or not they opted into marketing. So let's say only 20% of visitors opt into like the marketing. You're only able to send abandoned text messages to 20% of people. This now, it allows me to 5x that and send a text message to every single person that abandons their carts, which adds exponential revenue to my bottom line.
When are you getting their phone numbers?
When they're filling in the information on Shopify.
It's just required?
Yeah, it's required. Okay. It's required. But in order to text message market them, they have to click a box saying, I allow text message marketing.
For tracking, order tracking? Is that
yeah,
like this?
For their order information, their
Gotcha.
email and their phone number. Okay. And so with typical SMS, marketing platforms or engines, whatever, they need to click that box. Not only do they need to click that box, they have to like double opt in, right? Like it's super important. Otherwise you're gonna get sued out of your mind. With OneText, it's part of the same transaction. It's not marketing. And so as a result, anybody that puts their phone number in, it's fair game. And it's made me a lot of money.
Damn.
So shout out OneText.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Klaviyo, OneText. What else? Shopify, obviously.
Yeah, Shopify Plus. I now pay like $2,000 a month for Shopify
That's
Plus.
But
I save it on the transaction fees, so that's a W. In terms of other apps, one-click upsells. I mentioned that earlier for the post-purchase upsells. I love those guys.
You have a CRM?
A CRM?
Or like Notion or
oh, sure.
organization?
Trello.
Okay.
Yeah, I use Trello for organization and obviously Slack. Like my whole
For
entire
internal
business,
team? Yeah.
my whole entire business is run off of Slack. Like, I love Slack. But in terms of other like interesting apps, like Social Snowball, huge shout out to Social Snowball. Basically, like they streamline the whole entire affiliate and influencer process. They started off as a platform to basically turn your customers into affiliates. And basically, when a customer buys from your store, they get an automatic email. It's like, hey, we've created this automatic coupon code for you. Share it with your friends. And whenever they buy, you'll get 20% of it. And so like that was like the original premise of Social Snowball. But now like they realize that there's a lot of opportunity beyond just that like little space, and to like be like the solution to help facilitate influencer marketing at scale and affiliate marketing at scale. And they built some incredible tools to help me. With just like the onboarding and the flow, where like as before, my VA was making custom coupon codes for every single affiliate. Now it's like automatic, right? And it's, you know, it's seamless. And then B, like the organization that it's streamlined and the analytics is fucking phenomenal. So I mean, like Social Snowball has like changed the game for me. I don't know how I would run the 2,000 affiliate Discord otherwise.
Analytics, one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
Really important because you're making decisions based on the numbers, not your own ideas.
Right.
Do you use any sort of fancy system to track analytics across the board? Google Analytics, Excel spreadsheets?
Not really. I mean, Shopify Analytics.
Just internal.
And then, you know, Google Analytics.
Okay.
Nothing crazy. We don't really run ads. So like I would like recommend like a Triple Whale or, you know, one of those kind of like attribution softwares. But,
Triple Whale, okay.
But I don't really run ads. So, I mean, Shopify Analytics is pretty fucking solid.
What about your UGC content creators?
Yeah.
Are you like making them report their numbers? Are you just manually every day going through, looking at their account, just getting like a feeling or?
Right. So originally I was using like a spreadsheet. My VA would at the end of each month like create summaries across all the different creators, all the different accounts, the revenue that they generated, the commission that they earned,
how much you're paying them,
and how much I'm paying them. And then at the end of every month, I would go through, you know, the sheet A, and then B, like I'd pay them out. So I was forced to like really like, consume all the data and the content because like, you know, I was sending them money. So it's like, okay, you know, what's going on? And now I use like a software, I'm blanking out on the name, but I use a software that like does all of the view tracking and all of the follower tracking for all the accounts that we have. You know, but at the end of the day, like I mean, I don't want to say like I don't rely on the analytics, because I do, and analytics are super important. But like, I think it's important that you don't overcomplicate it, right? Like for me, it's pretty simple. I just want more more creators, more affiliates, more scale. If I do that, I know I'm going to make more money.
Okay, that's beautiful. I mean, it just makes sense.
Right.
Business people don't really think about it until they live it. And so hopefully this can help people just start off without making the mistakes we had to make to learn.
Yeah.
So I'll link all of the socials, all the tools that he just talked about
Sure.
in the description, so you guys can find those. But what else? I mean, I guess a good question I like to ask people is, what is a belief you had when you started your business that you believe strongly but is now untrue? Or even not even related to your business, just as an entrepreneur, your mindset. Like, what is something that you really thought was true? Once you've lived it, what you've learned recently is not.
I think that like we put people on pedestals. We see a successful rich guy and we're like, holy fucking shit, that's Albert Einstein. Or like he was born different, or he's some genius, or like, you know, he's insane, right? Like we're not the same. People do that with celebrities, people do that with influencers, people do that with rich people, right? At the end of the day, like that's all fucking bullshit. We are the same blood. We are all fucking humans. They don't have something that like they don't have something that I don't have. Like, I don't care if they're fucking Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't care if they're fucking Neymar. I don't care if they're the president. Like, it's not like they're it's not like they're smarter than me. It's not like they like have some sort of edge that I don't have. Like, I'm for sure they have like advantages and, you know, like maybe qualities that I might not have. But like at the end of the day, like intrinsically we're the same. And so, you know, I think that like it's important that you don't put people on pedestals, and like you don't have these limiting beliefs where it's like, I can never be like this guy, or I'm not smart enough as this guy. You could do whatever the fuck you want to do in this life, and there is no constraint. There is no like ceiling on your potential. Like at the end of the day, it's up to you.
Yeah.
And I think like that's like something that's like really, really important, where like you believe in yourself and like understand that like there is no ceiling. There is nobody telling you that you can only get this far. And it's not like these people were lucky. It's not like they were smarter than you. It's not like they had some like crazy quality that like differentiated from the rest. Like there's a pretty clear path to being successful, and it's not rocket science. And I believe that most people can achieve that. They're just not like, they just don't know how to get there.
It's at bats, right? Like you had multiple businesses before this, and you were learning. You learned a little bit about copy. You learned what split testing was. You learned what good creative was, how to make a good product eventually.
For sure.
And so it's just amount of at bats you take, the more you learn, and then you might get lucky along the way.
What I really believe is that it's not about intelligence, it's about experience. The more experience you have in the space, the sharper you become, and that leads to training like your intuition, like your subconscious. right? So it's not like you and me, like we're able to like look at a situation, and it's not that you're smarter than me. It's just that you have pattern recognition. You've seen that situation 800 other times, so you know exactly how to navigate. You know exactly what moves you need to make in order to cross that finish line. Whereas for me, I'm a newbie. I'm like, wait, hold on a second. I fall into this mousetrap here. I step on this landmine here. I'm not able to get from point A to B. But it's not because you were smarter than me. It's simply because you had more experience, which leads to more intuition and a wherewithal on how to basically move. And so my biggest piece of advice for people is to get that experience, to learn those skills, and you can't cheat that. There is no shortcut. You need to fail. Before like Tabs, like I had like 20 other ventures. A lot of them were massive failures, right? A lot of them were ridiculous. A lot of them were ridiculous concepts, you know? But that's part of the game. And the only way to hit big is to have all of those smaller experiences. And each one, you pull something, a learning out of, a lesson out of. And then all of a sudden, like things start to click, things start to come together. And then one day you wake up, like, you know, one day I wake up and I'm 21 years old and I'm worth millions and millions of dollars. And it's like, holy shit.
That experience created context,
Right.
and now you can take that to any business you start.
Absolutely.
And so it's just a matter of at-bats. And
Right.
I really feel like 3 years of entrepreneurship, you start to really get a good idea of like, okay, these are the basic skills, but apply everywhere.
100%.
And even with like, we were referencing earlier, like for me, like my parents, like they grew up in a time where if they wanted to learn something, they had to go to a library. Like,
Fuck
they had to
that.
drive. We have the internet now. And
ChatGPT, bro.
so when you say anybody can do it, and you don't want to glorify people, that's because the best information, Y Combinator, Stanford, Harvard, MIT, all those classes are on YouTube for free. But it's interesting because there's people that glorify people in my niche, my age, that have made all this money online because they have big followings.
Right.
But in reality, like you should be learning from people like you, CEOs of the biggest companies like Salesforce or of Shopify. They have interviews of those CEOs with like 5,000 views on YouTube that you can learn from. Yet people still choose that like it's a benefit because there's more information out there, but also still people kind of fall for this trap to follow people that are popular
Right.
or entertaining to listen to.
I think like it's like a limiting belief. Like people don't want to think that those successful people are like the same as them because they don't want to realize that they're missing out on their potential. Like they want
How
to
would that make you feel? If
exactly
You realize
like
you're
how,
the same,
how would it make you feel to know that you could be at that level but you're not because you're too busy fucking playing Fortnite all day.
That's the trap for society. And you did it without a following, which is so impressive, just sheer business sense.
You don't need a following, dude. You don't need a following. Sure, does it help? Absolutely.
Super
Which is
powerful.
why like now I'm like really investing on like building out my YouTube channel. And, you know, I don't see any money from that, bro, but I'm spending a lot of money on editors and a thumbnail designer and, you know, fucking $4,000 camera and, you know, these lights and the microphone and the whole setup. I don't see any return off that in terms of monetary. But the connections, the relationships that I've forged, the events that I'm getting invited to, the information that I'm getting
Immense
from these
value.
people, can't put a return on
You need to
it,
understand
no.
that building a personal brand
Right.
is a business.
100%.
Is the business. You
And
know?
eventually I know that the money will come too. I
Yeah.
don't know how, but I know that the money will come.
Yeah.
I'm confident.
I think I said this before you got here. Like, if you make a good product, you can sell it without a personal following. But if you have a personal following, even average or below average product will sell.
Dude, I have like 20,000 followers, a humble 20,000 followers on Twitter. It is unbelievable. Now. But I have 20,000 followers on Twitter, and it is unbelievable the impact that it's had on my life. I have like real like VCs and big time investors that DM me like every day, hey, I want to invest in you. Like I've been following your journey since you were a college student at the University of Michigan, before you dropped out. I've been following you since day one. They feel like they know me, they trust me, and I got people that are like trying to throw money at my face. I have, you know, people that find my phone number and text me that tell me that they want to work for me for free. What the fuck? I'm sure you could resonate to that because I only have 20,000 followers. I can't imagine what it's like to have 2 million.
I think building a business, it's the people in your business. Like, it's like your business's value is the sum total of like the average IQ of your business.
1000%.
And so that's
1000%.
attracting talent with a personal brand.
Huge.
The number one most valuable part of having. Like
Dude.
Elon Musk, he starts a new business. Smartest
Bro.
people right there.
1000%. And almost every single person that I work with, is somebody that I found off of Twitter, and
100%.
they are fucking killers. Like,
Go into that. What's your recruiting process?
recruiting. I wish I don't really have a recruiting
Not
process.
a process,
Yeah.
but how do you vet them? Like, how do you find like you?
I think this comes down to the personal brand and being in the know. Like when you're in the know, you're able to like who's the bullshitter and who's the fucking assassin.
How do you test them? How do you find that out?
I don't think it's like a test or find it out. I think it's just like
You
just know.
I mean, a conversation.
Like, no, sure. But like, bro, if I hear from like 8 different mutuals that you're a fucking killer, like chances are you're a killer, right? Like, and obviously, like I'm gonna test them out. Like I don't have any full-time employees. Everybody that works on my team is on a contractor or agency basis. So like if performance isn't good, they're not lasting. But like I haven't even had that problem. Like, and I work with, I would argue, like some of the brightest people in the space. I don't even think that I could bring them on board as a full-time employee because they're so talented that they're running like 8 different brands, their own internal products. They're making millions of dollars, among the 800 things that they do, where I'm just like a side project to them. But that's okay because they're so fucking brilliant, right?
It's kind of like they have the skill set that they have built over 6 years,
right?
And now they can do the job effectively for you in like a few hours a day. You don't
exactly,
need them
or they have a team underneath them that they've trained and they oversee
managing
shit, right?
Okay. How many people are core to your operation, by the way?
I don't know the number off my head, but like I would probably say like 8 to 12.
8 to 12. Very solid size.
Yeah.
There's this huge trend where you can do way more with way less people. Like Midjourney's 8 people. It's like
that is insane. I did not know that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's absurd.
I used to have, when I was younger, I used to think there's like this flex to having a lot of employees.
Right,
I'd walk around like I got 40 employees, I'm killing it.
Yeah.
And it's the flex is having as few employees as possible to get the biggest outcome. That's 100%. What Elon's doing with Twitter, and it's really showing. 100%. So I kind of want to go into more so who did you learn from? How did you become who you are? How do you like focus on education, or how do you think about education?
So when I was a freshman in high school, there was a senior. His name was Alan Maman. Like I owe a lot to this fucking kid. He is brilliant. And he was the guy that started the fidget spinner trend. Swear to God. If you look up like fidget spinner, like whatever, like there are Forbes articles on him. I think he sold like $400,000 in fidget spinners online when he was like 18 years old. He was a fucking walking legend in my school. I was a young freshman. The fidget spinner trend started in my school. So like he was selling it to like dudes like in class. And I remember being, the young little shifty, 14-year-old entrepreneur that I was. I was like, fuck Alan Maman. I could make these myself. I could sell these myself, right? I'm going to start my own fidget spinner company. My grandpa lent me $500, bought a 3D printer. I would print out the frame. I would hammer in the skateboard bearings.
You made them.
I made them, bro, with my fucking hands. And I would sell them to my homies. And me and Alan had beef, right? He's like, fuck this little twerp that ripped my business idea, but he was like uber successful. He put it online. He was running on meme pages back in the day when it was like nobody would like.
That's where you learned that,
bro. That 100%. And he hated my guts like when I was a freshman. Funny enough, he ended up like kind of becoming like I hate the term mentor, bro. I find that shit like so corny and cheesy. It's like, oh, like my billionaire mentor. Like fuck that.
And you never ask someone like, will you mentor me?
Yeah, like it's not like he's like
a friendship. Yeah,
right. It's a friendship. But he took me under his wing. And like it's not even like he like gave me like some crazy advice or like showed me the ropes. But like when I was 14 years old, like I saw the light. It wasn't like some like YouTube like guru bullshit, the Ferrari. It was, this kid goes to my high school. He is a fucking beast and baller. He is making a bunch of money like selling shit online. It's possible. And then I saw him like drop out of college. And I saw him like, do 800 other things. Like, he was running Bloomberg social media meme campaign. What the fuck? Now he's like running like a YC-backed teen investing app, like Robinhood competitor, like for teens, that's worth like tens of millions of dollars. And he's like their head of growth and co-founder, right? Like, not surprised. But he was like the guy that really like kind of showed me the light and showed me that it was possible to do this. Because originally like I thought it was a scam, right? Like you see all these fucking flexing the rollie and flexing the biddies and the Lambo. And it's like and then it's like, hey, buy my course. Fuck that.
I want to talk about that though. That's interesting.
So let's talk about that. So like Maman was like I knew that it was legit. When I was a senior in high school, Maman was head of growth for this app called It's Me. And he brought me on the team to streamline the influencer collaboration process. And he was the guy that was the first person to TikTok. This was like when it was weird.
So he's an innovator.
He's a huge
visionary, baby.
Huge. And this was like when it was weird to be on TikTok. It was like people dancing, and it was like weird. Like, oh, what? Like you're watching TikToks, you're making TikToks, but it was ripe for disruption. And it was ripe for disruption for 2 reasons. First, influencers on the platform had never done a brand deal before. There were no brand deals on TikTok because there were no companies that were like they're throwing money at them. So you were able to get brand deals for pennies on the dollar. 2, The second reason why like it was ripe for disruption was the viewers weren't seeing any ads, right? Like if you go on Instagram or Facebook, whatever, it's, you know, every 2 posts, it's a fucking ad. With TikTok, there were no ads. There were no like, you know, collabs. There were no influencer deals. So like, it was like a holy shit, like money printing moment. So he was head of growth at this app. He brought me on the team to streamline the process. I assembled a team of virtual assistants. We fucking scaled that shit up. We brought that app to number 4 on the social networking charts. And this was right behind Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp.
Damn.
They are, you know, that
you're not going to pass
that's Meta.
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, that's Meta. They're a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate with, you know, fucking, you know, tens of thousands of employees. This was an app with a team of 6 engineers and like me and Maman spearheading, you know, growth. And we brought it to number 4. It was crazy.
That's really impressive. And it's so
hundreds of millions of views.
Yeah, it's so crazy that this person went to your high school too.
Yeah.
Seeing that it's possible is really the biggest motivator.
And by the way, my web developer also went to my high school. Like we were in the same grade, we were homies, and he's a fucking killer. He's an animal. Shout out Zach Malter. And he has like his own, I helped him like kind of scale his agency where he just hired his first employee and now he's working for like 8 other e-com brands, like all my homies in the space, and he's gonna fucking kill it. But yeah, man.
Having people you can trust is really important.
Oh my God.
Because you go through a lot. It's a roller coaster. I know we're talking about the highlights here, but you've had some dark moments too. We won't go into it. They can go watch your channel if they want. What's your channel's name again?
It's my name, Oliver Brocato.
How do you spell your last name?
Brocato.
Okay, I'll link everything.
Word.
Okay, super interesting.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to go into what you touched on. So is there anybody else you've learned from online, by the way? Like anyone that you would notably read a book? Anybody you follow?
I would say like it was a lot of trial and error, man. Like, you know, after the fidget spinner trend, like, you know, that exploded, but then it also died just as quick. And I made a little bit of money off the fidget spinners, and I learned like Etsy and eBay, but after it died, I was like, all right, like now what do I do? So then I started knocking on doors, and I ran like a social media management company. But you know, clients were constantly churning because they're like, okay, what revenue are you driving? You're posting on Instagram for me, but like you're not driving any sales. So then I moved into like social media marketing, and then I tried drop shipping, and then
so you're just in it full time.
I was in it, and a lot of unsuccessful ventures.
School of hard knocks.
That's what it was.
Did you go to college at all?
Yeah, I went for a year and a half. I went to the University of Michigan. I was studying business at Ross, which was a joke.
How'd you get in?
I come from a family where like education is super important. My sister goes to Yale. She was valedictorian, like she was salutatorian. She was teacher's pet, and then there I was. I was class clown. You know, teachers would be like, "What the fuck, Ali Brocato to Ollie Brocato?" My name's Oliver. People call me Ollie. They'd be like, "Ali Brocato to Oliver Brocato." They're like, "What the fuck is good, right?" But like, you know, I don't want to like toot my own horn here, but like. My dad's a fucking brilliant. My dad's brilliant.
What's he do?
He's in finance, corporate guy. My mom went to Harvard Business School. She's brilliant.
God damn. Pedigree right here.
Yeah. I mean, when I told them that I was dropping out to sell sex chocolate, imagine. Yeah. Education is very important in my family. You know, that's a whole other story.
Where'd you grow up? What's
Westchester, New York.
New York. Okay.
Yeah, so like 40 minutes outside Manhattan. Yeah. And you know, I went to school. Freshman year was amazing, right? Like, it was during COVID too. So like I lived in a house with like 3 of my best friends. I was like developing tabs, but it wasn't that intensive, right? Because it was over such a long period of time, and there was a lot of like waiting. I don't know if you can resonate with that, but there's like a lot of waiting for stuff, right? Like we couldn't start photography until we got like the packaging, right? And we couldn't get the packaging until we get to the design, right? And so like it was spaced out over 11 months, but I wasn't like grinding on it day in, day out. It was like, you know, grind, and then it was like wait 2 weeks to get this
process
back. And then like grind, and then it's like wait a month to get the sample. So like there's a lot of waiting. And, you know, like, dude, it was a fucking, you know, it was a party, bro. Online class, which was a joke, pass, fail, you know, living in a crib with like 3 of my best friends. I was dating this amazing girl. You know, life was a fairy tale. In fact, you know, that was probably some of like my happiest moments ever. I look back on that.
Why'd you decide to drop out then? The opportunity was bigger.
Well, then sophomore year happened, and, you know, it was like real school. And, you know, I was in this fraternity.
Did you feel like you were learning?
No. No.
That's the biggest thing.
No, I was not learning.
Any kid that's in college and your parents are saying go to school, get a degree, those parents did not grow up with the internet and where they could learn from the best people immediately.
Dude, it is so
out of date.
Bro, it is so sad.
And it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Dude, it is so sad to see like an architecture student like grind their face off for 4 years, and now there's like fucking AI, you know, that will like, you can literally say like make 100 different schematics and give me like 40 different variations, in 3 seconds, their college degree is completely obsolete.
Were they teaching you Facebook ads or anything like that?
Fuck no. Fuck no. I took an e-commerce class, biggest joke in the world. I did the website project on my own company Tabs, and the professor gave me a B. He ran this like website called like Underground Printing. It is the most disgusting website I've ever seen in my life. It was like some like 2006 like Tumblr shit. And this guy's giving me a fucking B on my, I mean like I'm not arrogant, right? But it's just like, it was a joke. And school was a joke. In one of my Ross business school classes, which was the second best undergraduate business school in the country, we were playing with Play-Doh, bro. I kid you not. You could not fail a class. The worst you can get in a Ross class was a B. So everybody would just get fucked up and drink and smoke.
That's
and, you know,
the college culture.
It's the college culture, and it's an all expense paid trip by your parents.
By the government, if not your parents.
You know, I was very fortunate where my parents were paying for my education, and they wanted to pay for my education. My parents fought me tooth and nail, you know, when I wanted to drop out. But you know, that wasn't my life. I was living in a fraternity house with kids that would, you know, pass a bong around, you know, 99% of their waking hours in a dimly lit room.
All of my peers in college.
Sitting on a fucking couch in a dimly lit room, passing a bong around 24/7. Is that where I want to be? Is that where, like, is that inspiring? Is that like, are you kidding me, man? Like, I wanted to get out. I needed to break free. And, you know, I was told by some of my friends, man, like some of my friends in my fraternity, you talk about business too much. You talk about working out too much. I mean, I got to get back into the gym because I put on a couple of pounds since then. But you know, I got told by some of my closest friends, Ollie, bro, like you talk about business too much. Like it's a little too much. Are you kidding me? Like these are the people that I'm surrounding myself with. Like, you know, I feel bad because like my dad like has like this vision for college, right? Where like he's like an erudite, right? Where like, you know, you go to school and you get inspired and you meet these amazing people and build this network and you learn and you grow. That's not what my college experience was.
Mine was the most depressing time period of my life. And I graduated. I went through all 4 years.
Fuck that.
But it's so conflicting because we are told our whole life the story. You go to school, you get a degree, and you get a good job, and that's success.
Right.
And so all these kids that are in that dark basement passing the bong around, thinking they're doing the right thing because they're listening to their parents, and that's the narrative. They're going to class, doing the bare minimum, getting good grades, and so they're hitting, like that was the validation that they're doing the right actions. They're going to class, getting good grades. Now I can just smoke a bong and relax. In reality, there's no translation that you actually like accumulated that knowledge if you have a degree.
Also, like, dude, you're in your most pivotal years, like
100%.
18 to 22.
Your brain's developing.
Spend 4 years on anything. Spend 4 years on a business. I promise you, you will be a millionaire by the end of those 4 years. You stick it through. You do those, like, if you spent those 4 years as intensively and you took that $250,000 in startup capital, you will be, I promise you, you will be a millionaire.
Infinite leverage with the internet.
The bank will give you a loan for a student loan, but they won't give you a loan to start your business. How does that make sense?
It's, in my opinion, it is a huge scam, and it's really damaging to our culture because people are telling you the goal is to get a degree. The goal is not to get a degree. The goal is to get good at something, to become the best at one thing that you're interested in.
100%, and to be like a killer in that space. I had this aha moment, like a month after school. I was in Miami, right? And one of my buddies who runs this super cool design studio. It's called Our Bureau. Shout out Peter. And it's like this beautiful space, kind of like your space right here, man. Beautiful, like fancy, incredible, branded. The furniture, the vibe, it's immaculate. He had like 20 employees working behind these like, you know, cutting edge MacBooks. And he invites me to speak to his team about TikTok. Tells me he pays for my fucking Uber Black.
Hell yeah.
Wants to pay me like, you know, a couple $100 or whatever it was, a couple $1,000 in consulting for me to speak to his entire team. And I'm sitting there, I'm like 1 month out of college, you know, being in a classroom, getting lectured by a fucking dinosaur, right? Mm-hmm. And now I'm sitting here like, and his whole entire team has notebooks out, taking notes on what I'm saying. And I'm like, is this real right now? I was like, if I went the school route, I would be an intern grabbing these people coffees. Mm-hmm. And instead, bro, I'm like sitting there like on this like, you know, big chair, like this like kind of cushy chair, like I'm on a fucking throne, like I'm a king. And I got like 20 professionals, adults, that are scribbling down my every word, asking me incredibly insightful questions. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, if I went that route, I'd be grabbing them coffee. Mm-hmm. And instead, like, look at where I am. Like now I look at where I'm at. And I mean, in a non-douchey way, I look at my bank account, right? Like, and it's surreal.
You deserve it though, because you found that motivation to learn by yourself and you were interested in it.
I don't even know if it's the motivation, because I think a lot of people have a similar motivation. I think it's like going against what society's telling you. Because I think a lot of people have the same motivation.
Contrarian, yeah.
I think like people are afraid to make that leap because everybody tells them that that's the wrong leap to make. When I told my mom and when I told my family that I was going to sell sex chocolate, you know, they laughed in my face, and I don't blame them. Like I don't blame them.
It's a funny product.
Yeah, it is. When I told them like, yo, I'm going to sell $1 million worth of sex chocolate in my first 6 months, people were like, what the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with this kid? And then I did it. You know, in my first year, I sold 4. This year, I'm going to do over 10.
It's not encouraged. Like,
it's not encouraged.
I was lucky enough to have an entrepreneur father,
Right.
and so I just see it firsthand every day.
Right.
And so obviously I had a more supportive system there.
Yeah.
My mom really wanted me to go to college.
Right.
And I just see that narrative every single like day affect all of my peers thinking they're killing it.
Right.
Or I'm just like being eaten alive inside. Like, this can't be right. Like, this cannot be what.
Yo, so here's the thing. Like, my dad's very successful. My dad is super fucking smart. And when I grew up, I had a buddy. His name was Jack. His dad was a fucking multi-millionaire. And my dad and his dad were on the same level, like in terms of intelligence, in terms of, you know, professionalism, like if you measured them up, I would say it was pretty damn even. Maybe my dad was even smarter. This guy was a multi-millionaire. I'm talking Lamborghini, I'm talking McLaren, Rolls Royce, and like they were like my second family to me. And like I would go to their country club, I would go on vacations with them, I would go on their fucking, you know, I'd go on a yacht with them. And I saw, like, I took it all in, and I saw like the only difference between Jack's dad and my dad is that my dad is a corporate employee that will never make X, like that will have a ceiling that will be capped out at X. But I saw, you know, a fucking multi-millionaire. And there was only one difference. He owned his own business. My dad worked in the business. And I knew from a young age, I wanted to be like that guy.
That's so important. And I want anyone watching this that may be discounting him because you went to a nice school or you came from a nice family. There are so many of our friends who are doing nothing, like not making any money, have a lot of problems.
Well, dude, my dad doesn't make millions. Like, I came from a nice family. I was definitely privileged, but like, you know,
do not let that be an excuse to yourself. Like, oh, that's why he's successful. He took action. He grinded. He went against the grain and took a fuck ton of risk.
Right.
So huge props to you for what you did.
Like, my parents were like, yo, if you don't fucking hit the books, we're going to take your business away, dude. Like, it was the opposite. Like, I was forced to go down the corporate path. You know, since I was fucking 14 years old, right? I was scared to go home if I got a B or a B plus. I was scared to face my parents' wrath.
That's the true privilege. People who are pointing you and motivating you, like, holding you accountable. Yeah.
Right. I guess, sure. But I think that those are the wrong values. Instead of making it life or death to get an A plus on the quiz or test, they should be pushing you to start that side hustle.
Intrinsic, though.
They should be pushing you to learn that skill instead. Because at the end of the day, nobody gives a fuck that you got an A in algebra 2. But like the kid that's like grinding on camera since
it's more habit forming, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. But the kid that's like learning a skill at 14 and then like seeing that skill through, by the time he's 25, he could be like the next, you know, Spielberg.
No, it's just interesting. Like, the whole education system, technology's evolved so fast, and our parents are the one that we trust in guiding us through life. But again, they had to go to a library. Right. They had to go to a college to learn from someone who's the best at what they do. Now we can online, and we can use social media and AI. And so these people, even 10 years ago, it's a whole different world than what they came up in. And so it's so important that you're learning just firsthand and then trusting yourself that you have the right information and to take that leap. So was there like a point that you like were like hedging, like, should I stay in school? Should I take that leap?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, when I first started Tabs, like I was like kind of like recruiting for like a summer internship. And then I was like, fuck that. I'm not going to get a summer internship. And I lived at home and I was working on Tabs. You know, and this was like when we were in production, we had no sales. And again, there was a lot of waiting time. And, you know, I had to face my parents' wrath every single day. What are you doing? You're wasting your time. You know, you need to be in a corporate environment. You need to be learning. You need to be in an internship. Like, you know, disappointment. Disappointment. So I didn't drop out of school, right? Second semester sophomore year, I went part-time student. I took 2 classes, and that was that. Then I didn't drop out of school after that. I decided to take a gap year. I'm still on my gap year, by the way, right now.
Oh, yeah?
I ain't going back.
For sure, no.
I ain't going back. And by the way, I'm allowed to take up to 10 gap years of a leave of absence. I don't need to like drop out. I don't need to be like a radical dropout, right? I've created optionality for myself, and there is hedge right there, right? Which is like a safety net. Like shit hits the fan, worst case scenario, like I can always go back. And that's how I think other people need to think as well. Like school will always be there for you. But like I have lightning in a bottle right now. Like my company is growing by like double-digit percentages every single month.
Now
I am making, millions of dollars.
What gave you the courage to take the gap year?
Well, it was the idea that, like, again, what is the worst that can happen? But here's the thing. So I took the gap year, and I moved to Miami. I moved from a frat house to, this apartment that I couldn't really afford in Miami. And the company was growing month after month after month. But I was reinvesting every single dollar back into the company to fuel the growth. And then July happened, and shit hit the fan. We started getting banned on all our social media accounts. Revenue fell dramatically. My co-founder and partner, who was supposed to be contributing, who was completely MIA, told me, hey, Oliver, I'm going to go back to school, despite my pledge to take a gap year with you to focus on scaling the business. And by the way, I'm going to go start other businesses too, and I'm going to do the bare minimum per our contract agreement, and I think you should do the same. I go, oh, fuck, man. I can't afford the apartment that I'm living in. I can't afford food, really. Because I'm like, again, like all my money's like tied up into like buying hundreds of thousands of boxes and chocolates, like in order to sustain it. Like sales are falling. I'm living in this penthouse in Miami, but I can't even afford to furnish it. And I'm sitting there thinking, what the fuck did I do? I call up my academic advisor. I say, I need to go back to school. She goes, Oliver, you can't go back to school. You didn't take an economics class, which is a prerequisite in order to assimilate and to enroll in Ross. You need to take that economics class, and you can't jump back into Ross halfway through. It's not like a semester thing. Ross is like a very like particular curriculum. You have to wait a year. So I was forced into like this gap year, and I ended up moving back home, and I was incredibly depressed, man. I gave up like my parents were paying for my education, quite frankly. They were paying for my school. They were paying for my room and board. I was going to be living in a crib, again, with like homies from school, and life wasn't that bad, at the end of the day. Like, as much as I can shit talk it.
That's the dangerous part though, yeah.
That is the dangerous part. But as long as I can shit talk it, right? Like my parents were paying for my food, my room, my board. I'm living with friends, their parties, their girls. It's a vacation. Very easy to get comfortable. Very easy to get comfortable. And instead, I'm in the last place I want to be, which is back home with my parents. And by the way, my parents at this point moved from New York, the bumblefuck Tampa, like 40 minutes outside of the middle of nowhere, right? And I'm completely isolated. I'm completely alone. The company's tanking. My co-founder's back at school, partying with his friends, having the time of his life, starting other business ventures. And I'm sitting there with my dick in my hand. And I'm like, fuck, right? It was like probably like one of like the lowest points for me. And now granted, like, at the end of the day, it's all perspective. Like I'm very lucky and fortunate that like I was able to move back in with my parents, and
the feeling is shit. You don't have to sugarcoat it. Like
the feeling was shit. And man, like for a little bit, I gave up hope. I stopped working out and like got a little fat. And I stopped seeing people. Like it starts to affect your life. Like I wasn't like showering every day, and like I wasn't like as like hygienic as like I should be. Like, you know what I mean? Like I started to like have like more acne and break out because like it starts to like permeate into every aspect of your life. I got invited to, like with my family to like go to like this football game and see my cousins.
Can't even have fun.
And I was like, I'm not going. I can't see. I don't want to see them. I'm like this loser that like moved back in with my family, and like I was supposed
social pressure.
Dude, I was supposed to be 2007 Facebook in my head. In my head, it was I'm dipping school, and I'm about to fucking blow this shit up and be on a rocket ship. In my head, I'm fucking Mark Zuckerberg, like Facebook 2007, 100%. Right? Like, and this is the summer that's gonna change it all. And instead, I'm in the one place that is like, the one place that I don't want to be, which is back home with my controlling helicopter parents that are, in my fucking ear every day. You should have gotten a job. You should have been back in school, right? Like, terrible. But at the same time, it also forced me to put my back against the wall. And slowly, like I started to build things back, and I started to build a team, and I started to, bring on like some killers. We moved into Q4, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas, holiday season, soon after Valentine's Day, Q1, and things started to rebound and explode. And after July, we have been growing month after month after month. where we're now going to be pushing over $1 million months. And you know, I moved out, thank the Lord, right? Like I moved out. You know, I now live well, first of all, what I did was I traveled. I traveled for a month and a half all over Europe, and I got excited about life again, man. I went from a place of not.
Was the business running still?
Yes,
like,
the business was running.
Were you just waiting?
No, the business was running. The business was growing, and like things were starting to fucking move. And I started to build a machine. I started to build teams and people, and like it stopped being me, like carrying everything on my back, and I started to build a business. I started to work on the business instead of working in the business, and I decided like, you know, I need to get excited about life again, because, you know, here I was living in my parents' house. I wouldn't leave it, and I wasn't taking care of myself, and I wasn't seeing people. I wasn't socializing. And I'm in this place for like fucking 3 months. Like, I got to get out. So I booked a one-way ticket, and I backpacked and traveled around Europe, and it was amazing. I fell in love with a girl in Italy. Like, you know, like I started like dating this girl. I mean, dating. Strong word. Yeah, I started seeing a girl in Milan, and I started making friends in places, and I started to get like high on life again. And you know, people will tell you like, yo, like your business isn't going well, or your business is going well. Like you need to grind, and like you need to go, you need to go into monk mode, and fuck that. If you're not there mentally, how the fuck are you gonna run a business? If you don't wake up and you're not excited to tackle life, and you're not excited about like living, what's gonna motivate you to run an e-com brand, right? Like at the end of the day, what's the purpose, right? And so I kind of like rediscovered like just, you know, my passion for life and for experience. And then I ended up like, after, you know, my little episode of traveling and running the business, I ended up kind of planting my flag down in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I moved into an apartment with 2 of my best friends. They're both e-com TikTok guys, which is amazing to be around. And you know, here I am now, and the business went from $60,000 a month in July, and now we're pushing over $1 million a month.
It's so impressive, bro. And you earned every inch of it. You went through those hardships, and that's what got you here.
Right.
And that barrier to entry of making a good product, taking a year, is what's going to set you apart and why other people don't do it. So absolutely, you've made the right decisions, and though it took longer, it's paying off clearly. So congrats to you, but it's only the start for you. You're fucking 21. You're on a great trajectory, and you're going to see this thing through to great heights, I could imagine. 100%. But my friend, I think it's really important to focus on actually like the mental health side that you said. Like, not mental health, like that's cliche, but like if you're not happy, like you're not going to make good decisions. It's going to be destructive. Right. So don't work yourself into the ground. Right.
Like, how are you going to be motivated to run an e-com brand if you're not motivated to wake up in the morning?
Exactly. It's like people just need to think about it in sprints. Like there are 2 weeks where I do not sleep. Like, it sucks. And then there's like 2 weeks where I can't do anything because I'm waiting on my shipment to come in. I'm waiting on things. And so it's like, all right, I'm going to eat healthy, go to the gym, make sure I'm taking care of my body. And then it's kind of just, that's the balance. And then you're on the roller coaster of entrepreneurship,
100%.
Highs and lows. So what's next? Like you hit these numbers. I guess really now that you've achieved success, like people probably see this on the outside and are like, wow, he's got it all now. He must be super happy. He must have it all figured out. Like, how do you view the next year, next 2 years of your business going forward?
That's a good question. In regards to tabs, there are a lot of high leverage decisions that I can make that are going to result in a crazy amount of impact and revenue in terms of the bottom line. So, for example, right now we only sell within the United States. We're only sold domestically, but more than 40% of all of our traffic is international. So right away, just opening up our product to, you know, international countries will have a massive impact on our bottom line, right? So like that's like kind of like one big move that I'm gonna make. 2 is like is diversifying from my direct to consumer Shopify, you know, website. Right now, like 99% of all of our sales comes from our D2C Shopify site. I want to move, or we're actively, and you know, right now, like we're making these moves. We're moving to Amazon. We're moving to Amazon. We're moving to like Etsy. We're moving to Walmart. You know, all these online platforms.
So I have a question on this.
Yeah.
Each one of those new verticals, how are you going about learning each one of those?
Bringing on experts.
Are you hiring them? Advisors or?
Consultant, advisor, experts that are launching like those platforms. But like, so right now, like 99% of all of our revenue comes solely from our Shopify website. We're breaking out to online platforms like Amazon, Etsy, Walmart. We're breaking into wholesale and retail, right? Like gas stations, smoke shops, sex shops, convenience stores, hotels.
Have you gotten deep into those, the actual
Not yet.
physical locations?
Not yet. No. Like right now, like not at all. But like we're now like starting to kind of plant those seeds. And then, I would say the other big move is like just increasing is coming out with new flavors, new experiences, moods, product lines. There are so many different ways that we can take this. And I think I spoke about this a little bit earlier, but I'll just reiterate, we could become like potentially like the shroom chocolate brand and like corner that market. We could become like the Delta 8, Delta 9 CBD chocolate brand. We could corner that market. We could become the sex shop for Generation Z and corner that market. We could be like the mood, like the functional food brand that like comes out with like, a gummy times relax, or like, a pre-workout times chocolate, whatever. So there's so many different ways where we can take the business, and now it's about like kind of masterminding, like, all right, we're now doing 8 figures a year in revenue. Like, what are the moves that we need to make in order to bring it to 9 and 11? I mean, 11, right? But 8, 9, 10.
Why not?
Let's come for the B.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like where I'm at, like where my headspace is at for Tabs. And in terms of like me personally, there are a couple other projects that I'm very passionate about, which I can't talk too much about, but I'm just gonna dip my toes into the software space. And for those of you that like don't really know this, like on e-commerce, typically you'll see a multiple on your EBITDA, on your profit, your earnings before taxes, right, adjusted taxes, of like 3 to 5x. For SaaS, you're seeing an exit of like 10 to 20x revenue, right? Because it's MRR, and so I think that like Tabs has been an incredible stepping stone for me, and I do want to see it through. But I'm also starting to get excited about like new avenues altogether that I think like will create and build generational wealth. So, and then lastly, I want to point out, I'm starting to really focus on building my personal brand. So do not forget to subscribe to me on YouTube.
Call to action.
At Oliver Brocato, Brocato. But I'm starting to take my personal brand incredibly seriously. I've seen the opportunity and the opportunities that have fallen into my lap from having 20,000 followers on Twitter, a modest 20,000 followers on Twitter, right? Investors that want to throw cash at me, some of the craziest talent I've seen that want to work for me for free, parties, events, masterminds, right? Like I've seen firsthand the impact that Twitter has, like that my little social media following has on my life, and I want to multiply that. And so I'm breaking into YouTube, TikTok, Instagram.
How many subscribers do you have on YouTube right now?
800.
It's gonna be fun to watch you grow.
Maybe like 600.
Yeah.
I think I have like 600.
Mm-hmm. That'll change soon. Okay, so those like just the common verticals. Do you really see yourself, like you're talking about software, you're talking about diversifying?
Yeah.
Is this because now you kind of separate yourself from the business? It's like a well-oiled machine, and now you can start diversifying. So smart, dude.
Absolutely.
So ultimately, what's your goal? Like, do you have like a why? Like, I know people always talk about that, but I think people say in business, follow your passion. Right. I think, but a lot of people that I've known, just business is their passion.
Business is my passion.
Yeah.
Like people talk about like fucking hobbies and whatever. Like I love creating. I love building, and I'm addicted to like that feedback. And the feedback is creating an amazing brand and product with that leads to impact at the very foremost. And then also like money is like the scoreboard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and there's no cap on that.
It's a sport, yeah.
It's a sport. It's a game. Like your life doesn't change from 2 million to 3 million.
Nope.
Like at all. Like at all. But it's like it's a game. It's a game, and you want to level up, and you want to beat your high score. In terms of my why, right? Like I would say like I for sure had a chip on my shoulder growing up.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like like seeing like my friend Jack and like his family, like his multi-millionaire dad, and I see like my dad that would wake up and slave from like 6 a.m. to like 9 p.m. every single fucking day, and like my dad was like afraid of getting fired, even though like he was a top performer, and by the way never did get fired because he was a top performer, but like that's just the anxiety of having a job and being in like the financial space, right? Like when there's a downturn, like everybody's sweating bullets, but like I saw my dad like working his ass off and it never being enough, right? Like it was never enough. And I was like, I can be that guy. Why not me? On top of that, like, I would say like, I always looked at myself like as a kind of like an outlier. Like, dude, I wasn't the smartest kid, like in math class. I didn't get the best grades, but like I know that like I was destined for great things. I know that like I had potential, and I wanted to see that through. And people slept on me, bro. Like people like people
more.
slept on me. Like friends slept on me, teachers slept on me. You know, like everybody slept on me. And I'm a testament to the fact that you can create your own path. You can do what people say you can't. And at the end of the day, the sky's the limit and you create your own reality. And I will say like, I'm like kind of like a rebel too, a little bit. Like I can never like work for somebody. Like I can never like follow orders or like,
Same.
or like be an employee. And like, I'm an outlier. I'm an outsider, man. Like,
The personality trait.
it is a personality trait. And like, I would get bored, like doing the same, like repetitive task over and over. And like, I need to, like, I love the game of entrepreneurship. I love the fire, the stress, the anxiety, the intensity. I live for that.
Entrepreneurship is not fun. Like,
No.
it sucks like every inch
no.
of it. But on the outside, it looks so glamorous.
No.
You have to be built differently.
Something that I realized, every successful entrepreneur has struggled, like battle scars. Like, you know what they say, like, all the scars, it creates scar tissue. So that like, yes, like the next time you get cut, there's so much scar tissue that you don't even bleed, right? And like there is no successful entrepreneur without all those L's and without all those painful lessons and failures. And anybody thinks that they can shortcut that, or anybody thinks that they can get rich by drop shipping, right off the bat, or like they can go from zero to fucking millions. I got some sad news for you. That ain't the case. And by the way, fuck all of those YouTubers and those gurus that try to perpetuate that lie so that they could line their pockets and they can make money selling you the dream, selling you the course. Fuck all of those guys. Like, it's fucked up. They make $100,000, max in revenue, maybe like $10,000, like fucking, off their company. And now like they're equipped to sell you this course of their rented Lamborghini. And I know these kids firsthand. They're not impressive. They haven't really like, they don't know what it takes to run a business. They don't run a business. They run a lie where they tell the youth and they tell kids that, hey, just like me, you can make money like me. Bro, the only reason why you're making money is because of lies and because you're tricking people that don't know any better to buy your shit. When in reality, they don't have a fucking leg to stand on.
I could not agree more. One nuance or caveat I want to make is that people lump those type of course sellers to all course sellers.
Right.
Like college,
right.
I equally as passionately as you
Right.
are, I would say that college is 10 times worse because college is $60,000.
College is worse.
But these people that are selling these courses in their early 20s that just like made $100,000 one time or whatever.
Not even, bro. Some of them, dude.
It's all fake. Like for
bro,
sure.
it's like, okay, like let's break this down. Like I know a guy that has like on his like Twitter bio $1 million in revenue. It was $1 million in revenue over 3 years, right? So that's 330. Let's say $300,000, for simple math, right, per year. And he had 20% margins, right? So that's $60,000 in profit per year, right? And then he's a business partner, so it's 50-50. Homie was making 30 G's a year. That's below minimum wage.
Yeah, it's not, but they use revenue
right.
too. As
$1 million in revenue.
Yeah, irrelevant.
Homie was making $30,000 a year. That's go work at fucking Shake Shack, bro.
It's so funny.
Go work at Shake Shack, and now, homie's pulling in. I know homie's pulling in over $30,000 a month off courses.
And people will say, my agency makes $30,000 a month when their agency makes $2,000 a month and $28,000 are course sales.
But I agree. I don't want to. It's sad because like these guys ruin the integrity and ruin like the game for everybody. You're right, bro. There are for sure. Studs. There are for sure like legends that have that have a course or have a mastermind where the ROI on that is immeasurable. Unfortunately though, like those losers have kind of like ruined the taste for the rest of the people. And so it's hard to kind of like
drop shipping of a personal brand.
It's hard to separate though, like the people that are legit from the noise, and that sucks. But at the same time, like I don't want to like shut on it completely because you're right. Like there are beasts that inspire, that teach, that that help people like build fortunes. And it's not fair to shade the whole entire like space. But what I will say is that like 99% of the space, fucking
No,
full of
it's
shit.
it's an influencer. With if a person with a large following is selling a course, you're better off second guessing it and making sure they're actually legit.
Right.
But if you go to like Masterclass or Udemy,
Right.
like you got the CEO of Disney making a course,
Right.
and if you want to learn how, like if you actually know what industry you want to be in or what business model you want to do, the best thing you can do is pay
Right.
thousands of dollars to learn from the best person.
Absolutely.
But it's your fault if you fall for this YouTuber that has 1 million followers and makes a VSL.
Right.
Like you have to take accountability there.
But here's the other thing too, is that like there are people that I go to that run $100 million brands. Like we're homies. Like my boy doesn't have a course. Like I get on a phone call with him and he's giving me like strategic advice and tactics. Like, so I don't know about that whole thing.
So then people's argument is going to be, if they're making so much money with their business, why are they trying to sell a course?
Right. And which there is a counter argument to. Like
If
there's a lot of leverage in selling a course. Like right now, like
Well, it's even if you're good at something, you should want more people to be good at that, unless it's direct competition.
well that too. But I mean, like for example, I offer consulting like on the side. It's like a side gig. And I charge like $300 for 30 minutes, which is a lot of money. And it's like 7-figure, 8-figure brand
Oh, I
owners.
saw your tweet on this.
Yeah, dude. And the reason why, like, it's not like because I need the money, but I have like thousands of tweets coming in every day. Or sorry, I have like hundreds, thousands of DMs. Hey, I got a question for you. Hey, can you hop on a call? Whatever. And so like that $300 like kind of fee separates the noise from the people that are legit.
Such an important
Right.
point.
And so when I hop on those consulting calls, like I'm now talking to like real e-com people that run 7-figure, 8-figure brands, and they're incredible conversations. Oftentimes we become friends afterwards, and I for sure give them more than $300 in value. I'm plugging them
Without a doubt.
I'm plugging, because again, when you're at that point, all you need to do is optimize one thing by 0.1%. We're talking about tens of thousands of dollars, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe millions, right? So if they get on a call and I'm able to optimize one little thing, they're seeing 100 times ROAS on that, 100 times return. And I see the appeal of the course, right? Like now I'm starting to like hop on quite a few consulting calls where I should probably either
Make it once, send it to all of them.
Exactly. Instead of hopping on a 30 minute, where it's like oftentimes the same questions,
Exact same.
the
Every
same,
time.
like now it's like, okay, wait a second. Might as well like make a course. Might as well make a mastermind. And this is something that I've been debating because I don't want to be another NPC like guru out there. Like the world does not need another one of those people. But at the same time, I for sure have like interesting stuff to share. I have like a different like voice, and I think that I could provide value. So it's something that I've been debating.
I think you should, because you've clearly proven that you walked the walk first. And yeah, people are going to lump you into, oh, he's just a course seller. That's how he made his money. But those people's opinions are irrelevant.
I don't know. I don't know if it's irrelevant, dude. Because like I look at other people, and automatically in my head,
would you not work with someone
them.
just because they sold a course?
I wouldn't not work with them, but automatically, like let's say I would like rate them a 9 out of 10 because like I saw them, and now I say like they're selling a course in their bio. Maybe they're a 6 out of 10. It's not to say I'm not going to work with them, but it's to say like they just dropped 2 points in my book for sure.
Do you want to help people?
Absolutely.
How can you help the most people? And then people be, oh, we'll make the course free. But then it kind of goes into the like a balance of, is it worth my time? Then will these people actually take it seriously?
That is
because
if you give it to free, they won't even take it seriously.
If they take it, they won't take the course. They'll watch 2 videos and then shit on you publicly. So you actually want to charge to make sure you're only getting quality people. Because if I make a course on how we use Web3 in these big companies, that does not apply to like any normal person starting out today. They won't understand it. So you want to charge higher to attract a higher audience.
That's valid.
Just like a luxury brand.
Right, which is what we were talking about with chocolate.
Courses.
You're right.
It's the same thing that applies.
You're right. You're 100% right. And so, this is something that I've been thinking about and grappling with. Yeah, but I mean, we'll see where things happen there. But fuck the money. Like, I make enough money. Like, for me, like the personal brand has been just like invaluable in terms of like the relationships, the connections. It's access, bro. I got access to cutting edge information, cutting edge tactic, the top talent, investors. Anything that I want is one person away.
So much more valuable.
I put out a tweet and I can literally move mountains.
Yeah, I think I can get in contact with almost anybody.
I believe you.
But I want to go back to the course thing real quick. Is like if I talked to Bill Gates, he couldn't help me at all. Like he is so far above me
100%.
that it wouldn't even be useful. And so you just need to find those people that are like one step under you, so you can point at the 3 things. Like your advice on the TikTok UGC, guarantee you makes me an extra 6 figures this year. Guarantee it, just off this conversation. So there's value to that. But ultimately, there's so much value to a personal brand for every reason we just
100%.
covered. And so it's worth doing. I think for courses, one last thing, I just love this. I spent $100,000 on courses myself. Most valuable in masterminds, most valuable thing I've ever done. Literally told me the exact playbook, how to think about things, who to learn from. But for like the business model, if it's for beginners, it needs to be free.
I've never bought a course. I have not joined a single mastermind. And like, dude, I'm getting my information like straight from the mouth of like, you know, the top killers in the space.
How do you meet those people? How do you get on a call with them?
Twitter, man. Dude, I just like, since I started the company, I've been tweeting about my thoughts, like my philosophy, my perspective, and then just like sharing like what's going on in my life, like my journey and tactics and tricks and hacks of, you know, what I do. And you can follow me.
Do it, bro. Yeah.
Fuck. And you can follow me on Twitter at Oliver __ B1. I'm on all other social media platforms at Oliver Brocato, Brocato, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. But like, you know, I've been like just putting myself out there, and it's unbelievable, man. Like
before you had leverage, before you had results, how did you get in contact with these people? Obviously, you got lucky with this high school.
It wasn't results. Like people aren't like, oh, like he made $1 million, he's valid. It's just like, dude, I was like, I'm myself. Like I was so authentic about like my views and like what I was doing, and people started following me, like just like be along, you know, on my journey and be along on the ride. And people
Your
were
tweets,
like,
you're saying?
Yeah, people were like kind of like living vicariously through me, you know, like, you know, I'm a college student at the University of Michigan, and I'm like tweeting about like how, you know, I'm taking a picture of my MacBook and I'm in a lecture class, you know, and I'm like doing product research. And like, dude, if you have an interesting take and like, you know, you're unique in some sort of like, you know, way where like you're not just regurgitating the same bullshit that everybody else is hearing, people will start to take notice. And over time, tabs started to get bigger and bigger, and over time, my personal brand on Twitter started to get bigger and bigger. And I've connected with moguls, bro. You know, people that run multi-$100 million brands. People that run conglomerates, like investors, VCs, creatives, like anybody and everybody. And it's a very small world. It's a very small community. I think you can testify to that. I feel like once you reach a certain point in our e-com world, you become known, and you know, like people know who you are, you know who they are, and like there's like you're legit or you're not legit. Like there's like an understanding. It's like, oh, we have like 8 different mutuals. It's like I can like background check you like that, right? Like I could reach out to Alex, right, who's a mutual friend of ours. It's like, yo, what's the deal with this guy? And then I could like, so you know what I mean? Like your name and reputation starts to like carry a lot of weight. Start penetrating those kinds of circles,
and you start becoming known for something, which is really important. How do people talk about you? Just like your product,
right? And I'm like the TikTok like organic guy. Like
there you go.
That's like my personal brand. Like I'm like the TikTok organic guy, and hopefully in the next coming years, I'll be known for a lot more than that.
Well, my friend, hopefully we can have you back, and maybe sooner than that, and we can kind of get an update on what your journey's been. But I think watching your personal brand grow, I think you're going to grow really fast.
Thank you.
You have this down. You're definitely credible. So I think this was really insightful. I recommend everybody watch this back 2 times at least, because he dropped so much knowledge. You need to internalize that, and we talk really fast. So definitely watch this again, but go follow him on all social media. You already know his name. We gave like 4 plugs, but my friend, great to like actually get to know you. That was really inspiring. I learned a lot. Look forward to the next one, brother.
Cheers. Thank you.